that's being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. This is the record albums. This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetic and modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing.
Me?
Want you to smoke the natural herb.
Sweet.
Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sesame.
Sweet.
Some call it lamb's bread.
The tea.
And some people call it.
You want me to wake up?
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm Dave Charnick.
I'm J-Lo.
And we are in a packed-ass studio here.
Somebody left the door open.
No, they didn't.
What happened?
Someone has their phone on.
Not me.
No.
Oh, yes, it was me.
Oh, that's so quiet. Yeah, sorry.
Wow. Pros. Here we are telling everybody to turn their phones off.
I know.
And the one guy who doesn't. Well, like I said, packed studio. We've got, in the studio live, we've got JJ, Top Dog.
Hey, what's up?
But also the grow consultant for Verde Natural.
Oh, yeah, of course he's growth consultant for Verde Natural. We're
JJ's my
we're getting all
son.
Verde out in here, don't you worry.
Oh, yeah, we're all green.
We've got Adam Weiss.
What's up?
Coming in.
Nuts?
No, yeah, give me 2 seconds. Let me explain. We have also we've got Julian in from Dab Logic, also representing Verde too, kind of a little collab, and then we got from Consumption Park. Hopefully, do you have time?
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
8:30 Eastern.
Boom, 6:30 our time.
6:30
We
our
have
time,
Redman coming on. Reg will be in talking about their Cypher contest they're doing down there and his Docs Block 3-day block party going on Super Bowl weekend in Phoenix. So that sounds like it's going to be pretty sick. And we've got Fab Five Freddy coming in, but we miscommunication from, I'll blame Dave.
I'll take
This is 2 weeks in a row, Dave. That you don't understand how time and space works.
You know what, though? I have this one on video evidence. You want to see the screenshot that says 5 p.m. Mountain?
Oh, yeah. But see, nobody looks past the numbers. They 5, there you go. That's it. They saw that.
I didn't even say like MDT or MST because I don't know what the fuck we're on. Right. I said Mountain.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, but he's going to be hopefully checking in, but he'll be on the road. But actually, it's even better because that is literally his character. Like when you read, if you read anything about him, it's always him walking around going, yo, yo, hey, what's up, yo? Because that's his thing, obviously, yo, MTV. But he literally is just walking around. Everybody knows him, even if he wasn't the famous rap, or if he wasn't in every rap song, and even if he wasn't a famous graffiti artist, he's just got that character of like the mayor character,
I'm pretty sure my mother took me to see his work when I was young in New York City, and I don't mean like at a gallery. Like she took me. We took the train, went down to the depots and looked at all the trains that were all. I don't know what the proper. Well, how do you say graffitied up? It's not the right.
Bombed, bro. They got bombed. Yeah, and so she loved it. I mean, my mom was an artist. She had books on graffiti art on subways all over the house. It was something. So I'm pretty sure I've seen something he did. And he was in that crazy golden period too, where it's like Basquiat and him and Future 2000 and just all the big players and Stash.
Fucking Blondie throws him out right in the song, man. That was fucking cool. I didn't even realize that.
The real key to his whole thing is that he's been sampled in over 2,000 rap songs because it's the it's the fresh. So every time you hear fresh, that's him. So it's literally the most sampled sample in every hip hop record that started in Herbie Hancock's Rocket, right? So that's the first time they used it. And then ever since then, it's been in just thousands and thousands of tracks. So yeah,
we should ask him
with the sample knowledge.
Well, we should ask him if he gets a nickel every time somebody samples it.
I would hope he would, but I doubt it because in that particular part of the sample world, I don't think anybody's getting paid once it's in that. But no, in general, he's definitely been sampled more than anybody. Speaking of getting sampled more than anybody, fucking Top Dog it is the hardest Instagram to get right. I can guarantee you. Every time I think I got it right, I'm wrong again. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. But it is my fault this time. I misspelled it somehow in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but usually when you tag someone, a little thing comes up.
It did. I saw it pop up, and that was the weirdest thing. I saw it pop up. Oh, that's him, the real one. Okay, the real deal. And then I woke up this morning, and it was like, you tagged the wrong guy. And I looked, but luckily, I didn't tag the wrong guy. I just tagged nobody. I tagged some It didn't because it was said.
Rando.
No, it was your next. It was the next one they're going to steal from you, which was one letter off. It said I think I used a D instead of a T, and so
Yeah,
so
that's
it's.
usually how it is. It's usually just one letter off.
Well, plus
you know?
plus it's getting longer and longer. So soon yours is going to be like a whole paragraph to get just to get to top dog.
You know, because I get these messages saying, "Oh, you robbed me, this and that," and I'm like, "Which account are you following?" And there's an extra S or an extra something in there, and come to find out it's a scammer account, and they just shadow me. I mean, every post I make, they'll repost it. And then when you look at the account, it has like, I don't know, 40,000 followers, so it looks legit, Wow.
Because that's usually what I do too. Is I look and I was like, oh, this guy's got 7, so that ain't him. You know what I mean? But then it also sucks because when you get knocked back and have to start over again, then you look like the chump because all of a sudden the other guy's got more than you, so it must be him.
Well, that's because he can buy them. Anyone can buy followers on Instagram. So
when you start looking at the followers, you're like, wait a minute, these guys are not even in the country. Like,
we're gonna have to change our code because somebody's gonna figure it out. Because every time a new account is created, I will message it and go, "Is this the real JJ?" And if so, tell me the strain we've been looking for.
Yeah, we got a secret.
Past 15 years.
Yeah, we have a secret question.
And if you can't answer it, go fuck yourself. It's not you.
I love it.
Yeah. But now that I've said it out loud, it wouldn't be hard for somebody to go back in time and watch the
they're
show.
all gonna,
to figure it out, just to have the answer to that one follower.
You can change it up now.
No, wouldn't be fun. They have to try to figure it out.
Dave,
Is nobody scolded
where's our
Adam
joint?
Weiss for pulling a Puffco out on the show?
Nobody's scolding
I
around
asked.
here.
I know you did. You asked me.
I asked you.
Only you,
It's on
Dave.
you, Dave.
We love
I didn't
Puffco.
care. You didn't have to ask me. Vinny, what do we got today, man? Buchakis?
Oh yeah, you want a chocolate?
Yep.
Regular?
How
They're the same.
Would you like a weed chocolate?
so these are legendary, man. I don't know.
They're
The only time I ever sleep past 7 a.m. is on Vinny's chocolates.
Definitely.
Somebody out there in the edibles
Till
community
7
should start
p.m.
getting him to consult for you because your edibles suck and his edibles are really fucking good.
They are.
So if your edibles suck and you have a
My edibles
license
are-
and you want some help, Vinny will help you.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
Oh wait,
they
where's
could-
the big ones?
Oh,
Yeah, it's edible.
you got to
It's called
do
E2.
yeah, the Pac-Man.
You put them together.
What about the ones that don't have the buchaki on it?
Those are heavy also, but they have the they're covered in espresso beans.
Oh, and I can have those.
Delicious.
I had a bunch earlier.
Where's
Oh,
our
no, thank
joint,
you.
Dave? That's what I
Holy
want.
fuck! Really? The show's
So
going for
shout
4
out to
minutes.
Toomey Genomics. I ordered my
There's
25
more of
kits.
Super
I
dark.
ordered my 25 kits, and they didn't listen to us. Of course, they did the discount code is Adam Dunn Show instead of Done Deal. But I suggest,
That was just a code for you to get your tests.
No.
And then, oh, really? Oh, okay.
no. But they no. He said he resent it to me. So anyway, go to Adam Dunn Show on Toomey Genomics website. Order your kits because you have until the end of February with this discount code, and it's very important. And you fucking got to do it. So just get it done. Because I did. So when I do it, then everybody has to do it. That's
Yeah, be like Adam.
be like me.
What do you got? Why do you have the DJ headphones on today? Is it sideways?
Because I'm listening to people and I'm doing little thing. Yeah, like
Got it.
I'm because I'm doing hip hop shit now. So what up?
Oh, I know all about that.
Yes.
I love it.
Mark
See me and Mark,
immortalized.
we're doing it. We're teaming up.
Well, that's what. Yeah, we're all.
And so
So wait, everybody, right now, look, Top Dog Genetics, Numb Nuts, Dab Logic. Those are 3 huge brands. All the more reason to hit that like button right now together.
Oh yeah.
Everybody,
Smash it.
come on, let's see what
Say
happens.
smash the button. Say smash
No,
the
I won't use
Smash
that
it.
word. But
Smash it.
let's see if something happens. Maybe, well, because we have to pander to the algorithm.
Oh, fucking algo.
So that
If you really want to
So-
pander to the algorithm, you type our name in search and then click on videos after that. And then if it's just one of our views after that, click on that and just keep it going.
Well, listen to
And that
you.
gets us
Are you
back
guys
into the
gonna-
algorithm.
Tricky wiki over
Do you guys
here.
put
I'll
me
try to remember that.
in
Look,
the
Jay, why don't
videos?
you ask?
What?
You're much prettier than I am. Ask
that's
everyone
so
to hit
nice.
the like button.
We already asked. I'll ask
Do
you guys
it.
next
Do
time.
it.
Just do it.
And then we can talk
Everybody
about
hit the
that.
like button right now.
Yeah,
And-
Rosin
J-Lo
dogs.
said so. Do it for
and
J-Lo.
Get Dave to roll
Let's
this
see if we can
joint
get more
much
likes for
faster.
J-Lo than Dave.
The more
Well,
you
let's
like,
talk
the
ab-
more pressure
Right.
he is to roll fast.
Exactly. Why don't we talk about that hot chick I saw on Instagram the other day slanging clones and fem seeds?
Who are you talking about?
I don't know. It was some. She looked a little like you, but she was charging a fuckload of money for her
Anybody that
products.
needs seeds or clones, let me know.
Yeah, like real expensive seeds and clones.
It's a treat. Gotta treat yourself.
What kind of clone?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, look at that. She's slinging it. You know, it's
That's so
10% to the
nice.
show.
That's so nice. There's some, I don't know, you guys are going to make fun of me. There's like straw nana, papaya.
Wash as well.
Like some of the, yeah.
wash.
Yeah. I run those.
I think I put SFE or I-95 on that list because it's now getting out there. I don't know. I only put like 8. It was so hard for me to choose the 8.
Kids these days, JJ. Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, speaking of which, JJ, magically, phone call yesterday. Hey,
President Biden.
I really got to get you this Mazar cut. I'm like, dude, you do know you've been telling me this. He's like, yeah, I almost lost it. I swear to God, it was so close. I had to cut a dead-looking limb off of a shriveled up plant, and he somehow managed to get it to root. And I was like, well, then get it to me now. You have to get it to me because I have to get it to JJ because JJ doesn't believe me anymore. He says you're full of shit. So you don't want to have...
That was going to come up at some point.
Oh yeah, no, I know it was, but it was just funny because it was yesterday, like out of the blue, and I was like, oh well, he's going to be on my show tomorrow, so I will tell him. He says he's coming because he's on the western slope, so he says he's coming to this side he was talking next week sometime, like end of the month, so.
Anytime,
and I
just let
said,
me
don't
know.
worry, we're
I'll
here.
jump.
We're here receiving. We're here to receive. So no, you will get it.
see, in some of my genetics,
He's 33
that I
years
won't-
old too. You know,
that I
it's-
won't sell. JJ, supposedly I have a cut of yours, and I highly doubt it. But it's the Star Dog Corey cut, and it's supposed to be.
Oh, the old Corey.
I know.
Every time you sell that, do you send him a nickel?
No, that's what I mean. I don't sell that one. I've got a lot. I've got 60 strains, and there's only 8 on the list that I'm selling.
How many of them have thrips?
Oh my gosh!
What?
Such a dick.
I thought you tried it. Don't you get them infected and then cure them?
No, I just fix the bugs. It's supposed to be the opposite. I don't give them bugs. You're supposed to eradicate the bugs.
Silly me.
God.
60% of the time,
Anyways.
it works.
Yeah, what's going on this side of the table? Getting nowhere over there.
Oh.
So, and Mr. Weiss, we had a buddy of yours in was it last week or 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
TJ, yes.
I know. If we knew, we would have had you guys coming in together because somehow.
Or was it last week?
I didn't know that you knew TJ.
Or was it?
For a long time since
They played
childhood.
hockey together.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so
Good cat.
cool. I worked with TJ at Harmony and then at Dank by Pang.
Okay.
Separate times, but
Nice.
yes.
Good
yes.
lineage.
Is it? Yeah, he's a great person.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Love Mountain Select. They really do a great job out there.
There's some fire, definitely some fire product, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, you can tell because you only deal with quality too. That's what I've noticed over the years. Everything I was looking back and I was like, oh man, everything. Whether it was green is green back in the day or whatever, it was always like, an eye for quality, which is important. And now you can really see where it benefits because the people who aren't making it are the people who we're trying to go for the cheapest and we're going to be the cheapest. Like that's the wrong way to do this because in this industry, really, that's all you can be. You can either be the cheapest or the best. There's a zero in between zone.
There's still some passionate people around, so it's a good thing. Really good
I
thing.
walked into his lab in 2012, right?
2012.
Was it
13,
2013?
14. Yeah.
First lab ever walked into that I didn't think I was gonna get blown up. I mean,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh yeah, because back then they were super shady too.
This was somewhere in Boulder, and there was one phase of the process because it was early. It was I think.
The tubes blasting
No, they
behind the
had.
place. And
I think was it possible you were still using water to boil off the butane, or
No,
was it
no.
was it it was an evaporation thing, and I'm watching it bubble.
It was heat plates.
Yeah, and I was going, oh man, that looks a little scary because I didn't know what I was looking at.
that one video, that guy was.
I think
There's that
I'm
one
right.
guy that you see on the video with his hair dryer. You ever seen that one? He's
Oh,
in
yeah. No, I've
fucking
seen
blows
all
that.
those.
Oh, so you're like,
Or
yeah.
a fan blowing out the window, and they're right by the fan.
Well, this was in a proper
spraying
lab.
into
This is the
it.
one that was in the proper lab, and then it blows back and takes out the whole
Oh,
door
yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
It's
The
a good one.
vacuum wasn't fully sealed on
Yeah.
it or something.
Yeah, this lab
They pulled
was,
it off before the vacuum.
Sure,
was
you
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, this lab was insane. Built by Brad Melshanker and Wade Sanders. Excellent job, incredible. Very lucky to be able to get
That's
to
some
use
more of that.
Shout out to Brad.
the brand.
What do we got going on over there?
Nice.
I was going to
Hayes?
say Hayes, and then he fucking.
He told you?
I love me a good haze.
Beautiful.
Favorite.
Fuck your chair.
Sometimes.
What is it, Nige, or which one is it?
No, that one's a piff.
Okay.
All this piff talk.
Oh, so you're the first guy to bring
First
Piff
guy
to the Adam Dunn show.
The Colorado.
There you go. Good. See, you heard it live on our. Now we can see how many comments we'll get in the comment section.
Is that the 120?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you brought the Piff strand to Colorado?
You brought the strand here. Yeah, good job.
Only the flower.
Oh, yeah, got it.
120 days.
And seeds from Herm, so I'll do it.
Nice. So you're rolling this up now?
Yeah.
Cool. Oh well, thank you.
That is
It's why we only bring the best people here. You see.
the Dab
We don't fuck
Logic.
around.
Which one did you have? MTI. Future Diesel.
Future Diesel. It's
Nice.
fucking fire.
Yeah.
Oh, we
What's the
got
lineage on that?
Fab.
That's GMO.
is that
crossed
Freddy?
to JJ
Yeah, hold on a
Sour
second.
18.
Oh, we got Fab
did a
Five
massive,
jumping in.
Yeah.
Ew.
I wasn't prepared.
Yo,
On the fly.
man on the move.
You got to turn
It
your
always cuts out
mic on.
just the little things.
Okay.
There we go.
See?
We got you.
I'm not used to doing this on my phone.
It's all good. How you been?
Welcome.
Nope, it went
No,
off
now
again.
it went off again.
You just muted yourself.
There you go.
Hello. How's that?
Hello.
Now we're
Perfect.
back.
Hello.
What's going on, my friend?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
Better now.
Just living the dream over
That
here.
way sounds better. Oh wait, no, that's not good. I'm in a Uber heading downtown. Yeah. Hi. Hello.
Welcome back to the show, Freddie.
And I was saying,
Yes.
earlier, it's always funny because you're always on the move. I read a couple interviews, and it was just guys interviewing you while you walked around the whole time. So I was like, this is kind of your style.
Well, it's just happenstance because I guess they didn't tell me what time. I thought it was 4:20 New York time. So I was home and ready to go, and then he hit me. I was trying to hit you guys, and then he told me you're Central Time, which I didn't realize. So
Well, it's
I
okay.
didn't get the memo until
It's
after
not. It's
after
not the
fact,
first
but-
time. It's not the first time, and it ain't the last time that'll happen. Don't worry. Stoners and time zones. It's a bad combination. We do this all the
We
time.
just did it
We're-
with
I
Tommy
think
Chong.
the listeners expect it,
It wouldn't be the Adam Dunn show without a miscommunication on the time slots.
I hear you.
So where are you off to?
Well, anyway, it's good to see you guys. I'm on my way to pick up a friend. Actually, a friend that's in my film Grass is Greener, Baz Dressinger, who's an academic scholar and a major criminal justice advocate.
Wow. Nice.
And she does criminal justice stuff, fighting work all around the world. But she was a person in my film, Grass is Greener, and we're good buddies. So I'm going to catch up. We're going to a Jamaican restaurant in Brooklyn called Negril.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a beautiful evening in store.
Yeah. Get some good old Jamaican food, some whatever, see what's on the menu. Jerk this and jerk that.
What projects you working on these days? Are we going to see you on screen anytime soon? Something new?
Well, I'm developing projects, but interestingly, I remember, I don't know if this was the last time I was on. Okay. But I launched the cannabis brand Be Noble, and we've been doing quite well. We're in 12 states now.
Wow.
And getting ready for Florida to go live in a couple of weeks, which we've been waiting on. So it's been really good, and we've been able to cut checks and give donations to people that are fighting the harm caused by the war on drugs in different states where we're making money, working with Curaleaf. That's a part of what Be Noble is about. We're taking care of Bernard Noble, and then we're able to donate a percentage of what we earn to organizations that are helping fix the harm caused by the bullshit war on drugs, specifically cannabis. So that's been going well, and just excited. We've been traveling a lot, trying to expand our business. I was just in Portugal for 2 weeks, just back a few days ago, because cannabis is going to go adult use over there. And so we've been, talking to people that have been aware of the brand and want to gear up. They never really had a cannabis culture in Portugal. And then Germany is also looking to go adult use within the next year and a half to 2 years. So we've been like going over there, baby, getting in the mix, letting them know that Be Noble is in the game, and trying to see what's up.
Well, let's talk offline, because my buddy in Germany supplies, I think, 3,000 pharmacies with distribution already. He's hooked in. I'll connect you guys, and there's your distribution for Germany.
Done deal. See that? Show is already worth it.
See?
No, totally. Always worth it. I remember you guys got some good seed advice. It turned on a good friend of mine in New Mexico.
Yep.
Yeah, an old friend. And I was like, I just connected with you guys, and you guys gave me some great advice.
Yeah, we got
so
you.
I like
to
talk.
now.
I like to have a moment with real cannabis people. It means a lot.
Sure.
So
it's awesome.
Well, we can get you in touch with J-Lo's expensive feminized seeds right now. She's selling. So if
they're on sale, actually.
Well, you know who I'm good friends with, and actually was Zooming with him yesterday, because we're now ready to pull the trigger on our relationship. Is Mario Shabinsky is going to be doing something special for our Be Noble brand, but he sent. But I just, and in fact, what I just had about 5 or 6 puffs of before I got in the car was a lemon cherry gelato that is just beyond sublime. One of his incredible, just, home run hitting strains. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So he's going to be breeding. He's going to be breeding you.
Wrong?
He's going to be breeding you something special, huh?
Oh yeah. No, I had something special. Yeah, it's 55. It's 510 West 55th Street.
Everybody, paparazzi, head there right now.
They're on their way.
510 West 55th Street. Paparazzi, go. You catch Freddy in a cab. Hurry.
You got him looking
Somebody
over his
text
shoulder
Danko
now.
right now. He's close to there right now. Danko's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's our paparazzi.
Oh boy. What's going on? Where are we?
The GPS, I don't know. What is it?
Are we going over the George Washington Bridge?
Yes.
Wait, that's not to Brooklyn.
We got a longer interview now.
You don't go to Brooklyn.
Okay, guys. We're having an Uber GPS issue. The guy pulled over. I'm looking around. It's not looking like Upper Manhattan. We literally are going over the George Washington Bridge right now.
I hate when they do that.
Oh, man. Unbelievable.
Well, now you have plenty of time to chat with us.
You got a whole crew here to hang out with. You're not by yourself.
Oh, man.
You know that.
This is crazy.
And he can't deny it because it's on camera now. So we have the video complaint.
Time to blaze
the Uber. And you want to get a discount on this trip.
He should let you blaze in the Uber.
Yeah, tell him you're in it. Tell him you're in it. This is part of the interview.
He probably wants to smoke right now.
That would be funny. Oh man, this is crazy! I can't believe it.
You're supposed to be at a weed interview right now. You're supposed to be at an interview smoking weed, so you need to continue. That's
oh boy, this is a real.
So are you headed to Jersey or where?
Well, no, I was going to pick up my friend on the Upper West Side. No, the Midtown West Side, 55th Street, like Hell's Kitchen, actually. We're coming down from Harlem on the West Side Highway. And next thing I know, I looked, things didn't look kosher to me, and now I see why. We've been on the George Washington Bridge. But anyway, life is good. Like I said, a lot of things happening with the Be Noble brand. And then we're also really excited about adult use in New York. I was lucky enough to be at the Housing Works first actual adult use dispensary when that opened a couple of weeks ago. That was like unbelievable media circus. So, yeah.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this THC NYC project? That the old.
Yes, I visited that gentleman that's doing that. In fact, it was Sherbinski that was advising, and there was another name, and he said to call it
Han. I think the guy's name's Hans or something like that. The main guy, and he was a friend. So Jerome Baker was there. Jason Harris. He set up. They set up a glass studio there. At one of the floors also.
Oh yeah, wait. If while you're in New York, if you're driving along and you should happen to see a 6-foot-tall glass Jerome Baker Brong, it was stolen from Sacramento. So be on the lookout. APB.
6-foot bong.
Oh wow.
Two of them.
That's wild. That sounds interesting. I'd like to get a hit of that. Oh man.
Yeah, they were loaded into the crates and then they never made it to where they were going. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, this is fantastic.
Oh boy.
Are
we going back into the... Okay, I think we're heading back in.
I thought you were going through that.
Okay. Anyway, I can't talk to the driver. I'm talking to you guys. As long as we get to where I'm going, we'll have to work it out in the numbers. But everything else is, everything else has been good. Like I said, we're excited about what's happening in New York. Our B Noble brand, with just a 2-joint pre-roll, has been really making a bit of an impact, and we've got ideas to expand with some an infused pre-roll and some other interesting products on the agenda.
Well, please add that to our discussions too, because we just met the guys that run Bangers brands, and it's just their technology for rolling joints. So they don't grow anything. They'll put whatever you want into a joint, and I was quite impressed. Every single one burned to the end, nothing canoed. He even had some really high-end ones that he has made special for himself that were 2.5 gram, totally loaded with keef. It's a good partner to have. They know what they're doing. They're spot on.
He took it so seriously though too. He was like when somebody obsesses with something, he was obsessed with burn rates, and he had it all dialed in to the point where you're like, okay.
Shit, yeah.
It was
wow.
His high-end joints come in
is his
glass.
operation portable? Does he move his apparatus around? What's the setup like?
Because he has technology and he licenses, just like
I get it.
Just like Julian from Dab Logic. If somebody wants to get into the rosin business in another state and needs advice, he has an established brand or process that he could white label, so Bangers can white label, and I'm sure there's a deal to be done. I'm sure he'd love to do business with you.
Yeah, I'd love to see what's going on. I mean, if he's going to be setting up shop in New York somewhere, whatever it is, but I'd like to be able to connect, so I appreciate that, just to see what's up with that. Sounds interesting. We are back in Manhattan, by the way. We're on the West Side Highway now.
Safe again.
heading downtown. Familiar territory. But anyway, man, this has been great talking to you guys. I'm going to need to jump off because I've got to call my friend and let her know that I'm not far, but really good to hang out.
Anytime.
And,
So nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. And yeah, man, shoot me some information on the guy that's got that new way to roll joints and everything.
I will.
On the infused tip. We like that. All right?
I will.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Have a good
Okay,
night.
guys. Take care. Peace.
Peace.
It's the best.
Look at Kelly telling me to try to
Five.
sell him the grinder. I'm like, of course, that's going to be that. I'm just going to call him and say, you got to buy that grinder.
Oh yeah,
before
but you need the grinder.
Yeah, you got to have
Is
the
this
grinder.
how we're hustling our airplane tickets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
We can't just all sell
otherwise-
overpriced clones. We can't all sell overpriced clones and people. That doesn't, it wouldn't look good on the show.
Sorry.
Wait a minute. We just talked about your overpriced clones and
They're not
seeds.
overpriced, right? Right.
What are they going for?
Well, but $2.50 a pack.
The boys, okay, so I used to sell a lot of these for not those strains, but $10K,
Where'd that
to select
joint go?
spots in
In my hands, of course.
5, I guess, was like on the 5,000, was like on the cheaper end to keep it like a tight group, like value the genetics. They're not going to go home out.
5,000 is not cheap for anybody these days. It's like, what? 5 what? Wait
so
a minute.
now
What?
I'm doing it for less than $1,000, right? Never thought, like, that's why it just hurts.
Look at the big
picture. She's on the street hustling.
And nobody
Every
get down
day.
on Freddie. Just so you know, we had a misunderstanding with the time zone. He was ready to sound check at 2 p.m. Mountain Time today.
Which would have been
4 p.m.
his time.
And then he was ready to go at 4:20.
I was at Apothecary.
Yeah. And then, he's calling me up, and I'm in the kitchen baking bagels. I didn't even know what it was. And I clicked the wrong button. I missed it. Get his message. I write him back. He's like, man, I'm going to be in an Uber.
Well, he was.
Fuck.
And we got him in the Uber, so
like,
he
no problem.
wasn't lying. But that's all right. The good part about that is that we get another interview.
Yeah, because we had,
Because he'll of course we get it. That didn't even count.
Oh.
No. that was just a bonus. But we got Redman.
Oh, Redman's calling in at 6:30.
So there you go. I
Okay.
can't argue with that. Jesus, guys.
Yeah, and I can even text his person.
You guys did not fulfill your promise.
Dang.
Well, speaking of activists, right now, I guess he's an activist. We're going to have Randy Lanier on February 10th. On Friday, we'll be coming on the show. He has a Netflix, I guess, a segment about what he's done in the past.
So that February 10th is going to
smuggling.
be that, and it's going to be Jeremy Silva and Miles also.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a star-studded event. Yeah, that looks. I'm stoked to talk to Randy. Though. That's definitely cool. Do you see the Netflix? Do you see that Netflix thing, the special, the Randy Lanier one? He got caught.
Bad Sport, I think, was the documentary they were talking about.
Bad
and
Sport,
was,
yeah.
He smuggled like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of cannabis to fund a NASCAR racing team.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and he was really good too. I mean, he was spot.
Got something
You got to
to
watch
watch.
it. You got to watch it.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Which is funny too, because like the crew right next to them is sponsoring with meth. So it was like, so it's like this entire sport is sponsored by drugs, because if you think about it, it's the amount of money they have to dump in. If it's not corporate sponsored, where is that cash coming from? You know what I mean? Like, it's either from some eccentric dude who just happens to have tons of money.
That's a dope way to get it done.
Or it's a bunch of drug dealers
So-
trying to dump money to figure out a way to
I just went to get
or both, or a combination of the two. That would be the one. I'd think would be the one you'd want. Oh yeah.
I just went to get perfume the other day at Sephora, which is a big chain, Sure. And the girl is like, I love this perfume, and it's named after drugs. She's like, one scent is meth. And like, she said it so casually and so excited. I was like, interesting. But then she said,
scent was called meth.
yeah, and she said it's supposed to be methy. And I was like, but
You
that's,
day meth.
yeah, I was like, wow, this
How
must
do you
be a
know
bad.
what that
But-
smells like unless you do meth?
Well,
Did they
that's
have a
good-
chick on the cover with like missing teeth?
Just
and
go on
shit
the
ground?
RTD.
Well,
Grab you
she
go.
said there's like a
library.
cannabis one and an
Or the
MDA,
public
like,
library.
like she said they're all named after like different drugs, but
No.
Sephora won't carry the drug names. Like the meth, she said you have to order online.
I wear their PCP one.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
It's really good.
I'm trying to figure out if he's
Great when you need to lift a car off of a kid or
Tried
something.
to
Like,
scratch
I
it.
just
He's got the dancing bear hat on. I mean,
Maybe
it's
we should
not
put
far. It
medical
could
meth
be. You
before
know?
it would work.
What?
Maybe if they put medical meth before it would work.
that's crazy.
Medical meth.
it was just really odd. I
Okay.
just interesting take on marketing.
It's called Adderall.
It's called Adderall.
I don't
Meth.
know. So I guess the cannabis one though you can order online as well, and I'm interested. I'm kind of intrigued of like, does this smell like weed?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Yeah,
We
you're right.
didn't we prove that?
Guaranteed, absolutely not.
I even told them at 14 or I'm like that does not smell like Tropicana or weed.
You know,
I'm really curious to try. I want to check out the Humboldt Seeds one though, because I mean they have to have done better homework than that, because you saw they have the scratch and sniff packs now.
what?
I haven't seen them, no.
Scratches.
But wasn't there
Like-
someone that
like we
was
all
running
dreamed about
around
it.
putting terps on their beard?
Oh, some dipshit. Like super dipshit.
What was his name? Don't say his name.
Don't say
I'll
his
take
name.
the bagels.
Don't ever take
That's
it.
Don't say his name. You know?
Not to be said on the show.
Well, but this would be a good time to thank one of our sponsors, www.pinskysmybitch.com.
There you go. Go straight there.
Go to
Merch coming soon.
www.pinsky, P-I-N-S-K-Y-S.
I I need a hoodie.
mybitch.com and just enjoy.
Exactly. Now,
Don't want to open it at the dinner table.
No, it's not kid friendly.
No, not kid friendly.
Hella not kid friendly.
Yeah.
I don't think we're a good group for that.
Well, remember JJ made the shirt that says "No help from Pinsky."
It's a good one.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wasn't Pinsky having a rough go of it like last week or something? Or
Well, we're gonna just.
He was in the gym. I don't.
I know.
What happened.
Yeah.
exactly.
No. He's lost 30 pounds, 35 pounds already. He's doing great. You know who's
looks
doing even
great.
better?
Who?
The bro.
The bro.
I saw pictures.
Yeah.
He didn't scale anything, but I saw pictures.
Yeah.
I'd say 50 pounds he's lost.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
amazing.
Congrats, bro.
Vegan lifestyle.
I think that's so
There you
cool.
go.
that
Switched
They're
over.
both getting it.
If the bro can do it, anybody can do it. There you go. He'd be that. He is like the Subway dude or whatever. If you could, without the
I'm
weirdness.
I'm trying to get some up.
When, you
Trying
know,
to tone in and tone up before
oh, shut the
it's
fuck
spring.
up.
What are you doing now?
She's going to
Trying to
talk about how
tone in and
fat she
tone
is.
out.
Oh, shut that.
You know, the thing that they don't tell you about being a woman is the older you get, your ass just like gets longer, and like all these girls are like.
Oh, where HR is calling up right now.
Anyways.
That phone is ringing.
Is that a way? Is that the terminology? Longer?
Longer.
It's not good.
It's called
We'll talk about it
gravity.
later.
Yeah, gravity.
Gravity.
It
Gravity.
affects everybody.
So, Julian from Dab Logic.
Yeah, let's talk about
Maybe let's talk about first. Let's not assume everybody understands the current process of rosin. We're not using hair straighteners. You're not going from flour anymore. It is. So what do you recommend to the hobbyist rosin maker out there? What should they be doing? Fresh frozen?
Yeah,
to start.
Yeah, I would get like vacuum seal bags, chop your plant down piece by piece, and as quick as possible, get it frozen within 15 minutes, something like that. Don't vac it, just seal it. If you're using just like a traditional freezer in your kitchen, it's probably not going to freeze that fast, so you know, you'll end up kind of with maybe a musky smell. You really want to get like a deep freezer. You want to get like maybe even dry ice potentially if you want to get it cold really fast and just like
or spend a lot of money on a cryo if you got the money. If you got the money. If you got the money, spend
Greg,
on a cryo. But,
Greg, Tracy.
dry ice can
cryo
get
care.
it done, and it's like you can do a plunge for like literally 5 minutes, and it'll, you know, depending on the amount of material, you only want to put like 500 grams in a bag. So you plunge that down.
When you say plunge that down, dry ice in what? Or
Like
just
a bucket,
dry ice?
just in a bucket. Yeah,
Got it.
Have a bucket, dry ice in the bucket. You know, I like traditionally, like this is like how they do it. If you're off grid, if you're like out in the mountains of Humboldt, you're gonna have like delivered 2,000 pounds of dry ice. You're gonna, you know, pull
Making a lot of ice.
Nothing suspicious going on here.
pull a couple shovels out. You
Just
know,
a couple
shovels
thousand
worth
pounds
out,
of dry ice.
Dip the bag down in,
Move along.
cover it up, thin layer. And then, yeah, the stuff freezes really fast, freezes in 5 minutes. You can then put it into any freezer that's negative 10
It's always like
or
the
lower.
ramp up is the hard part. Like getting it
Got
from
it.
0 to that frozen phase
Yeah.
in a normal thing is so slow and tedious that
Yeah.
it never
You-
quite gets
You
there.
want to be super quick about it. The faster you are and the more efficient you are, the better it'll be. I mean, you want to preserve the terpene fresh off the plant, essentially. It's like the freshest possible that you can get. Then you'd wash it. You can use a 5-gallon bucket. I mean, you can use a nice stainless steel
Like sink or-
container, you know, something like that. You can use a plastic brute, you know, it depends on how much you're growing. And then it's, a lot of people are like scared. They're like, oh, I don't want to put a lot of my material towards hash because I don't know if I can even make hash or whatever. And it's just really, smaller amounts kind of suck. Like you really want to put like, I mean, bare minimum, it's like a couple thousand grams of fresh material, you know? It's
You always got to remember it's 4 to 1, right?
Yeah.
So if like
And it's fresh.
You don't want to wind up with just a sesh.
Fresh.
Well, the worst is like people are like, dude, I got like a whole pound. You're like, dude, don't even talk to me because it's like it ain't worth it.
Yeah, a pound of fresh.
It ain't gonna do it.
not
You
worth
have
it.
to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like.
So really, you're talking like multiple plants then.
Yeah. I would take 2 plants, 2-3 plants, 4 plants. Take a 4x4 tent, grow the whole thing out. Even take it all, and then.
It's super disheartening as a grower though when you get everything and you're like you realize like everything you've done is just there. You're like, that's it.
And like even before all this, it's like the number one thing is you have to look at your genetics. Like it's like if you're growing haze, for example, don't be expecting yourself to get a high yield off that, and at least off like a first generation that wasn't necessarily bred for resin. It's really hard to find that.
It's also the type of glands that come off the plants, and some plants have really long stalk with a small head, and that is not inducive to.
And even more so. It's
any
like
suggestions for the people on the genetics there?
Yeah, genetics. I mean, look at chem dog varieties. Look at sour varieties. I mean, that's really where you want to start.
Greasy. Sours are so greasy.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with the sour.
It's too greasy.
It's greasy, and then also the OG Kush is also greasy too.
Yeah,
OG Kush is like flower weed, though. It's not good for hash.
But if you cross some of them into some chem dog, then you start to get a little bit of hybrid vigor, and you will get some phenotypes that will wash, and so is this
it's super important. Like it's funny because now that's become the number one question. It's like, does this wash well? And it sucks because a lot of the classics don't really wash so well. Like it sucks because they have great flower, but they don't wash that great. And then you get a lot of these new ones, and the reason that they're popular is because they wash good, but they don't really have the kick when you smoke them as flower. You're like, nah, this is the shit. So we got this kind of we're growing them for different reasons, and
most definitely.
And we test everything for both. We're not, everything gets chopped down. We everything gets dried out, and we take the sample for fresh frozen. So everything's tested side by side, and if it's not good on one or the other, it might not pass if there are other varieties that are,
Right.
So
or it just might surprise you and not be what you think it is, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I guess this is really good flower, but it's terrible in the thing. Like,
oh yeah.
And it doesn't matter anymore, though. It doesn't have to go both ways. It doesn't.
Did you say?
I said both ways. It doesn't have to go. You don't have to be able to make rosin and flour. You can pick. You can just grow for that.
Of course you can.
It's good to have that thought process from the beginning, not when you're chopping the plant, most likely.
Going, oh fuck, what am I going to do with it? It's Thursday, and fuck, I didn't call anybody. What do I do? I have no freezers.
The pinnacle strains, like the real deal that really make a hit, really make a wave in the market, will have both for sure. Yeah. And they'll be pungent, and they'll be, they're not going to be light smelling or this or that. They're going to have pungency to them. And they're going to get you high.
Well, also, I think when you look at the different kinds of resin too, you have like certain resin is really heavy because it's oily, and other resin is really light because it's not much in there, and you can just sort of tell the difference. Like sometimes you get a plant which doesn't yield a lot, but the resin's super heavy. And you start looking at the numbers, and it was like, oh shit, it would be not at all worth it to grow it for flower, even though it's nice and everybody loves it. But fuck me, it makes awesome hash, and so now you can sort of pinpoint it for what its value is.
Is it difficult as these compounds begin to separate? Like sometimes, like with greasy strains, like specifically and things like that, where you actually can't get much out of it. Like I'm talking less than like 2%. Or have you guys seen that with a lot of strains? Or
yes,
for fresh, for sure.
Like we were saying before, a lot of the hazes just don't produce. And I guess there's a flower to resin ratio where you could, if you do a test on a strain, you might overall get less. But since it produces more flower, then that kind of ups those percentages. Wow. So, Julian knows, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's like milligrams per square foot is the whole kind of mindset here. It's like if you're measuring out whatever your square footage is, you're really going for how much resin is produced in that area.
There you go.
on how much material that you get from that area. So something like GMO, grow really tall, lanky, it's going to fill out a tent probably fully versus some like more squat,
Larry.
Yeah, or something, like that. And, even if the Larry hit 4% and the GMO only hit 2%, let's just say, which would be weird. But right. you'd have more based volume. On how much cannabis you have, you're gonna have essentially the same on those. So it's like if you have half the amount versus twice the amount, but one yields half and one yields twice as much, then so it's milligrams per square foot. You're measuring that, and the easiest way. This is really the easiest way to test if your plant's gonna wash or not, without doing test washes and all that kind of stuff. Is you touch the plant when it's ready, like beginning at 8 weeks, right under the bud, kind of right under the leaf, and you just touch it. You don't squeeze it. You don't do anything. You literally just touch it. You pull it off and look at that. If you see bulbous trichomes and you see like a fair amount of them, that's probably a good plant. If you see something that's greasy and it doesn't really have any trichomes at all, that plant most likely won't wash. And and then you can go even further and see the tackiness of that resin, and kind of determine like, oh, well, will that be a little bit leaning on that greasy side, something like a sour, or is it more sandy and in like a chem variety? And it's like, just pick something that you enjoy, so that way it's not like a loss if you don't either, really at the end.
So now it's in the freezer.
Yeah,
it's
now
frozen.
It's in the freezer.
How
it's
long
frozen.
you gonna leave it there?
I mean, you don't have to leave it there long. As long as it's fully frozen, you can literally begin washing it right away. I mean,
so really, right after the dry ice,
the freezing process really is if you're having to prepare and do other things in order to before you can wash this material, then and in order to get it into a state where it's the trichomes potentially are like a little bit more just preserved. And I mean, I wouldn't even say like that it's necessarily better than even going necessarily right off the plant. You could potentially just go right off the plant if you're that excited and you're like, okay, I'm going to get a barrel, I'm going to put my bag in, and I'm going to just chop my plant right into the barrel. And as long as you're throwing down ice in between, and as long as you're putting down ice cold water, like literally 33-degree water, and you're just maintaining it being cold, and you're washing it right away.
I would say it's almost like it's like how your extremities get cold first.
You don't have to freeze it. Freezing it really is like.
Because you can never get.
If you have a room that you're pulling down,
sure.
Or
and the thing is, if you did it fresh like that, I would imagine then that the trikes being on the outside are going to freeze kind of before any kind of material is going to freeze. So if you catch it at the right time, you can knock them off potentially at the right time. But of course, you could also.
And it's also like when you're putting in that water, the water is not going to be as cold as like the dry ice will be. So that it's coming up. It's coming up a little bit, and that's why ice can be important if you don't have like a chiller to chill your water, let's say. So you
which
really
99% of the people don't have. So
yeah, if you're not running a water chiller, then you absolutely need ice, and you're going to use reverse osmosis water, reverse osmosis ice, and you're going to just essentially take your frozen material or fresh, however excited you are to do it, you put it in that barrel, whatever you choose. You can buy bags from. Let's see, who do I want to name drop here? I guess it's like Bolt bags. You got Harry up from Humboldt, and he's.
I remember Harry.
Yeah,
he used to come to Amsterdam all the time.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
He's old school. He's old school, and he always is adapting too.
Yeah, and his
bags
never
stopped.
handmade. Everything's like
He does. He did those cone ones. Remember the cones?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he still does it, but
he does the full mesh.
Those.
The full mesh, the Frenchie full mesh, and those are honestly. some of the better bags to get, the full mesh Frenchie.
I would when they were really wet and somebody didn't know what they were, they'd be like, "What's that?" And I'd be like, slapping them, oh, it's a horse condom. Check it out. Slap it on it because they had that look.
That is fucked.
They were pretty funky looking.
Yeah. I mean, they're
full too.
He makes them for pretty much any size or type of equipment that you have. At least that's like a mainstream piece of equipment. So
he's funny. He's funny at the shows too because he's always like, "Oh, let me show you the latest, greatest." He's always got, like I said, he's always got some next. It's full mesh with the cone bottom, and it's got the thing on the top because he's always thinking.
And it straps around this.
And it's like, and it's always because when you repeat motion so many times, and that's the thing about making hash in general, is it's just fucking labor intensive no matter how you do it, even with the best equipment. It's nice when you have really beautiful equipment because it's like, oh, look how easy this is. But it doesn't matter the phases that you have to go through and the reality of like just setups that are. I like when I watch on Irazig's stuff and he showed the guys doing the static tech and then you see all these people chiming in like they need water and they need. It's like, dude, you guys have no clue. It's like wherever you're low, like whatever level you're at, you can do it. You don't have to have all the money in the world. You can do it. Like I started making hash with pantyhose on fucking stretched out on a frame. And then with bubble bag, get to work. Julian, get to work. We want hash by the end of the show.
So it's a bag of ice, just like this.
But in general, like technically, really all you need is a bucket, right? Like you don't even need screens because...
Okay, really fast while we're talking about this. Real fast interjection.
That?
So that bucket, that way to grow bucket.
Uh-oh.
So what you know that I designed and had that made.
You designed the bucket?
Yep, and it took me a year to convince the owner to do it. And it is so cool to see that
same
you
one?
have. That is my bucket.
You designed a Homer bucket?
Oh shit!
It's my whole
the
bucket.
Things you find out about J-Lo. She's a designer.
Wait, you designed the 5-gallon bucket that's found in every Home Depot?
That way to grow bucket.
She designed the bucket from the ground up, man.
I'm saying the way to grow specific. Okay,
well, that's good.
Here's a question for the novice, Julian. Now, if you're going to be washing hash, in your opinion, what is the difference between doing the bucket method and the washing machine method?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question.
Because a lot of they sell a lot of these washing machines in grocery stores and such.
Yeah,
how much are they in grocery stores? Because you can get them on Amazon for $39. It's called a College 5-gallon washing machine.
The reason I recommend against those.
What?
The reason I recommend against that is because it's like those things are lubricated. They have a lot of greases. They heat up. The materials are very low grade and low quality with tons of plasticizers and nasty shit in them. And it's just like you don't want to be smoking that. It's getting into your hash, and it's like over time, the more you're using those, the more it's just stripping it down. It's just like it's super hard to clean that thing perfectly. Like if you try to look inside of that, and how are you going to perfectly clean that spotless and make it beautiful?
Good point.
It's like that's really
you have to
really good point.
Everything has to be perfectly spotless. That's the number. I didn't even mention that. It's like
let's go.
Don't go in there with dirty equipment. Every single piece of your equipment has to be polished, and just very clean. Your area has to be very clean. Everything around, if you don't do that, your hash will never be good. And even when you're growing that material, you can't be dirty. You can't be kicking dirt up in your room and moving plants around and all that kind of stuff. You have to maintain that and keep it just.
Well, they're very. I mean, you can imagine
even
big,
outdoors.
Giant,
like when people
plants.
are doing this outdoors, they're out in Humboldt or out in Washington or Oregon or whatever. It's like they're growing these fields, and you'll see on the bottom of the field it's hay or straw across the whole field, or wood chips, and wood chips are the best way, honestly, and you just chip those from the wood right on your property, and you just make it yourself. It's that kind of stuff to keep the dust down, to keep the debris down. I'm talking outdoors. And when you're growing in soil, growing organics is, that's my personal favorite. I think that's, something that when you're dealing with soil, there's potential for dust and contaminants. So being able to maintain that, in the best way possible, that's going to make your product that much better in the end. So you start with that before anything, and then once you've got everything clean and you're reset and you're all good, then you kind of dive into the process. And to JJ's point, it's like you want to use a bucket. A 5-gallon bucket is easier to clean than the plastic 5-gallon washing machine. So it's just side by side right out the bat. And if you can't just stir a 5-gallon bucket for a few minutes at a time and whatnot, then I don't know. Then you might not make the best hash. And then
could you do it with like a drill, like in a paddle? It's just a question.
You could, but you will. It's not
It
going
would
to be
damage
good.
the trichomes and things.
It's just going to tear it up.
We got about 3 hours left. Let's
like
go.
in those methods, you can do those. Like if you're just like, I want to get something, like go ahead. You can absolutely do that, but it's just not going to end up with a quality product or like what you see people winning awards with. You know?
Yeah, it's like the same as the places that have the best quality cannabis are the people that handle their product gently from the point of growth or the point of it gets harvested, into the next. And whereas if you get other people who are just disregard no respect for the plant, they see them just jamming things in or not leaving any headroom, or there's always these little details, and every little ding along the way. I always tell everybody, it's like, look, it starts at 100, can't give it a starting point, and then everything from that point, you just fucked it up. You know what I mean? Like you can't blame the plant ever. You got to blame yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So the plant, 100%. Plant just did 100, no matter what. Even if it's got a little weird growth, still starting at 100, and everything that goes wrong is probably your fault. There's really little chance that the plant fucked up and said, I forgot how to grow. Like they're just doing what they do.
Yeah, you can grow water only, like Jeremy's mixes from Build a Soil. Like you can literally buy a bag of his soil and stick put it in a pot and stick a clone in that, or stick a seed in that, or whatever, and you can feed that water only and come out with stuff that will produce hash if it's the right genetics, and it'll be beautiful. It'll be some of the best hash. Like water only hash is amazing, fed just with the nutrient of the soil.
All right, so now we've got it in the bucket.
Oh.
I've heard now you have to gentle it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Gentle it. So take us through the next step.
Yeah, you stir it, and you're mixing. You're not trying to agitate to the point where you're causing like
vegetative matter.
Yeah, vegetative matter, saponification of the material, and just like
and also
heavy
like not
foaming,
a lot,
essentially.
Right,
like,
not a lot of ice either, right? Just like kind of cold as possible.
Yes, just 33 degrees. So whatever it takes you to get that.
Man, it was only 37 when I got in here today.
It would have been perfect. We could have been. We didn't have to turn
32 to 33. When you're moving it at 32, it's not freezing. You just don't want it slushing. Like it'll turn in kind of slushy, and you don't want it that cold. So, you're mixing that, and then you have a bag and a bucket. Something. I don't want to. I guess I could just
go for it, bro.
Yeah. All right.
So much pressure on our show.
Oh yeah, we don't. No prep. Just
with a bucket over here, so it's a bucket.
Look at that bucket. Oh, you can't see the bucket.
Right there.
Invisible bucket. You see invisible bucket.
So much better.
That's awesome.
Invisible bucket.
The only thing that's missing is some material. You got the ice. You got the bucket.
Somebody go get
water, some fresh frozen.
Let's do it.
Wait, give me your keys.
I know.
There you go.
You're mixing in.
It's a work bag.
It's a work bag. This is a 220 micron screen in the bottom. You're putting this
Shout
inside.
out to Bubble Boy. I mean, man. Sorry.
Yeah. Man juice.
Putting it
I'm
inside of your
allowed.
bucket,
I'm allowed.
Okay? So this goes. This goes inside the bucket.
Okay. Yes, sir.
And
Oh, sorry.
the weed goes inside there. It's cleaner than this. This one's been sitting around this warehouse
Oh yeah,
for a long
that's.
time.
I was going to say not clean, not what you would use.
This is not the bucket.
And your material goes inside. Your ice. So you put ice in the bottom. Ice is always covering the bottom of the screen. Material goes over the top of that. Ice, layered in between, thin layers.
Vinny, get your word.
Until you're maybe like right here on the bag, and
there you go.
Yeah, you're about right here on the bag. You stir gently. Agitation, just like that.
You're gonna have to stay that height the rest of the show now.
Now you're like a teacher. Now you're in teacher mode. Teacher mode.
I'm liking it. Let's go.
So you're stirring gently, not trying to create too much agitation inside of there, as far as like beating up the plant material or causing like foaming. Once you've mixed,
which is funny because back in the day, everybody was like, "That foam is the shit. That's when it's good."
They
right there.
still show that on Instagram right now, going, "Wow!"
Now you know it's going.
Did you ever use the egg beater?
I use everything. I've done it all. Oh yeah. All of it, yeah. Egg beaters.
You would put the lid in, and you would just cut a little hole and just let.
You put 2 holes. You put the extended. They had the extended deal.
Outboard motor.
Yeah.
Kidding me? You tried it.
I had a kid who was working for me, and it was funny because when we were I showed him how to make hash. He was from Oklahoma, super lazy, and he would just like turn it on and just go sit down and do bong hits. Just do bong hit after bong. I come in the room.
30 minutes later.
I'd be like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's doing all the work." And I'm like, "Dude, you gotta be on top of it. You gotta like know it's all sticking to the sides now, because it was like the classic with everything had its own problems, and then you realize later, like, wow, we were really overdoing everything, weren't we?
2007, 2008. I feel like it was so shady. Like
2007, he was doing hot dab. Well, I guess after 2007 but
I mean, like.
All the hot dabs everyone did right at the beginning, like 2013.
Oh, like knife hits and shit.
2010.
Knife hits and solo cuts.
Oh yeah,
classy.
So what happened in 2007?
It's a thing in the past now. We're moving on.
So do you do work bag and then do you pour into individual and have like multiple stations, or do you like to just stack them? Or
so how it looks is essentially, I mean, if you were to do it, you would basically take something like a 5-gallon bucket. You'd cut the bottom off of those, and you'd make it really nice, razor it, so there's no like fray on it. And then you'd stack those and essentially have the bag in each stack.
Yep.
The PD.
And how many bags you running normally?
You're running like, I mean, it depends on the material if you're outdoor or indoor. But you're running like a 190, a 160. A 120, a 90, and then probably a 45. You could run a 25.
So you're all bags. You're running them all. You're running everything. Yeah,
I can listen to them all.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
That's all we got. There ain't much more. Yeah, no. And it's funny because the 25 is rough because it takes so long and it's so slow.
It's so hard.
It's a pain in the ass. You're just like, oh, this is
the trick on that is you just literally pull the bag out at the end and you just literally
give it a snap. Yeah.
I found you had to get the right.
It's one of these slide backs
because you need the water to pull it down. It just get that suction going.
So Petey from Treasure.
Petey.
This is like 2000 and I guess it was like 7, 8 before I came here. He designed a system which was like it was pretty cool too. And I still have half of it here because he ended up taking the other half back, and he over-engineered it. Right, it was like one of these things that was really well made. But to get it actually made by somebody, they were looking at the work and just like, how the fuck did you even do this? Because he had like holes coming this way and this way. Because what we figured out was once you stack everything up, you create this fucking, all of a sudden now nothing flows because there's no movement. And you have to create that break in the fucking movement. And so how did you do that? And what he did, which was super smart, is he connected every one of them via magnets, so like a magnet and a little post in between, and at the very bottom it was like a drum where you flick your foot and it would just flex the screen just enough, and it'd flex all the screens, and then they would drain. And so as long as you had the rhythm going,
that's how you take beans out of a can.
And so it's just but again over-engineered because we had to figure out. But the cool part was you could change the screens out in like 3 minutes. So like you had you have a roll of screens, and then when you need it, and it's basically like a column that you just continuously feed.
Wow.
And it was pretty smart, but the problem was that we tried to get it like produced, and they were just like, dude, this is gonna cost like to make every mold of every one of these things, and it was just like, but yeah, because it was all about that bottom screen getting stuck and then everything backing up, and then you're like,
a super like a real easy way if you're at home and whatever you do the bucket stack, and you get like exercise bands and you attach them to something like a pull-up bar, and you clip them into the side of the bucket, so you clip them on the sides here, and it's a bungee now. So it's on a bungee, and you're just and you have your bucket, kind of pouring out up top, and you can literally just kind of sift the whole bucket through.
Genius.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing I love. It's like whenever you go to growers or hash makers and you see, because again, repetitive motions, you're like, I'm not going to do this over and over. Why am I doing this over and over again? This doesn't make sense. Like there's got to be a better way, right? And then you come up with these little systems, and it's genius usually, and it's like it's so simple that when you see it, you're like, oh, dude. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Especially like back in the day when you were hanging we had to hang filters and shit. The ideas you had to come up with, because you'd be like, nobody wanted to do that. When you came in, it's like the worst part of the whole setup was the carbon filter, right? And you had to get it up. And
so sketchy.
And then people get all lazy and they put them on the ground, and you're like, it ain't even work.
It's not even work.
You got to put it up there.
They'll put it in like the corner of the room on the ground.
Most of them, 90% of the rooms you go into, corner.
Yeah,
complete
shoved
lazy.
In there. There's like water draining into it.
Right, and you're like, it has to go up there. It has to go up there to go there.
There's an intersection in Boulder around Arapahoe where before Boulder really cracked down on it, you could just, because I used to work around there, so we used to walk and be like, oh, grow, walk a little bit, grow, and it was so. Yeah, you said where to put the carbon filter. I was going to say, you mean carbon filters.
Well, it sucks because if you mount them up to your ceilings, it's awesome. But like to get it mounted, like a lot.
You worked at Rare Dankness, the most over-engineered building in all of cannabis industry.
Yeah, but I work at
ever.
like shitholes all the time too. It's like it balances out. But
the problem is like you get it up there, and then literally, if you were going to replace it when they tell you to, it'd be like you just never do. You're like, it's been up there for 6 years, you know what I mean? It's like you never replaced it.
I don't understand why they don't do like the chain thing.
But then they made those light ones. What are the light company? There was that one company that came out. They were like half the weight or less. And then they became way better.
They
but then
are
nobody
not
cares
that
anymore.
light,
But then
though.
nobody cared. And then all of a sudden, at a certain point, everybody wanted to
now they
stink
don't
up this
give a fuck.
place, and every place was like, we got to stink.
Well, then when
I
you have
wanna-
a stink, you just point to the person down the street.
That's
Like,
exactly.
It was him, not me.
Right.
Come on.
And
Those
also,
fines are like $25,000 at least, like minimum.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
It's
it was brutal.
ridiculous. Yeah.
but then there's the
Sad.
argument that people used to use, right? I don't want to use that because it's drawing the terps out of my plants.
That's the
Like,
dumbest
really?
thing I've ever heard.
Fuck?
Your plant's got other problems.
Yeah,
so-
really. I don't think
Failing
so.
test.
I don't think that's the problem.
Jeez. Oh, really fast. Is it okay if I ask you, for the people that don't know, I feel like we have very big knowledge of you. You've had such a strong presence in Colorado and all over with your talent and beautiful product. But I feel like for the people that don't know, could you talk about like how you began your journey with Dab Logic and like how you got into this?
Yeah,
but he didn't finish. Take us through.
We're
'cause
almost
we got
Yeah,
it.
Mrs.
Sorry, guys.
Sidetracker.
So-
Take me
Sorry,
back to
guys.
your childhood.
It's a
Yeah.
blonde thing.
You're pulling it through. You're pouring your material through your stack at this point. So you pulled out your weed out of your 5-gallon bucket that you just stirred. You pull out your weed. You kind of wring it out a little bit, not too hard, just slightly.
Smell that
You're wearing gloves. You're clean. The whole thing. That material.
You're
gets
wet.
Put into another. Yeah, you are wet.
You
yeah.
are wet.
And cold.
And cold.
You put your material into another bucket over here. Put a little bit of ice in. Put the water back in. Cold water out. Pre-chilled water. So you're putting ice in your water before you're ever putting it onto your cannabis. Sorry, I'm visualizing over here. That's why I keep looking down.
You're an artist.
But basically, so once you have kind of your wash water, so to speak, filtered through the 220, that's what's in your bucket. You're pouring that through your stack. You kind of shake it through your stack. Literally, you just sit under it and you just over a sink or something or wherever you have. You don't have like a trough or whatever you have. And all the hash is flowing through, getting caught in the bags. separating by micron. On the other side over here, you have a pump sprayer, little pump sprayer. You've pulled the whole pump sprayer apart. You've literally unclipped the center tube from the main pipe, and you've pulled it apart. You've cleaned all the grease off from in it. You've made it really clean. This is all beforehand. You put it back together. It works really nicely. You're filling it with reverse osmosis water and ice, reverse osmosis ice, and you have this little pump sprayer. You're pumping, and you spray through the top of your bag. So you got your 190, 160.
Double
you got
tap.
your 120, your 90, your 73, your 45, whatever. It's filtering through. You're spraying it kind of just like cold water. It's taking whatever's on top. You're maybe shaking a little bit. The 190 bag is, if you're growing really fire weed, the 190 bag is worth cleaning, scooping out with a stainless steel spoon that you pre-chill. You just spray it with your sprayer until it's cold, and then you grab that out, scoop it. At this point, you have a 25 micron screen that's sitting on top of like a stack of, let's just say, paper towel. You put the 25 micron screen on top of the paper towel. You scoop your hash on top of that 25 micron screen. So you have like, what is it, 6 of those set up, or however many bags you have set up. You have that many 25 micron screens on top of a little piece of paper towel. You're coming through, take it off, you slap it down, you fold over the whole paper towel stack is sitting like this with your screen on top and your hash is on top of that. You fold it on top of itself like this, and you press, and you're doing this quickly, and you're not doing this. This is at your house if you don't have a freeze dryer, if you're not just scooping onto a tray and throwing it into a freeze dryer, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is literally basic tech.
Right. Pizza box tech.
Yeah, and I was even going to go one step further than the pizza box even on this one. But basically, so you get it so the water's wrung out as best as possible, and then you place that into the freezer. You do that till all your bags are empty, spraying them out, cleaning them. You know, you're literally like kind of grabbing onto the side of the bag with the sprayer. You're over here, and you're kind of like knocking it so that the water is like coming out as you're doing that, and it's essentially you're cleaning the resin. You're carding it. You're cleaning it like you would be if you're dry sifting it or dry sieving it or whatever you're doing. You have to purify the resin, so you're purifying it. Obviously, if you grew it really well,
she's a priest.
If you do it really well, if you grow it really well, this process takes less time. If you're pulling it out of a potentially not as clean environment, then you're going to be sitting there forever spraying this shit trying to get it clean. It might never get clean, depending on how it is. But so you're looking for like a pure kind of oil look to it. It's very
it's got a little weird bounce.
It's got a little bounce to it, and at that point you take it out, you put it on the thing, and then you wring it out. You do that for all the bags till you're finished. Then you set up a microplaning station. So you would set up, essentially, I would get aluminum or stainless, whatever you can afford, trays that are like baking trays. You put a piece of parchment on top of that. These are also pre-chilled. And you're microplaning on top. The microplanes are frozen, and you're microplaning as fast as you possibly can with the puck that you're pulling off from the freezer that you just collected from the resin. So when you go to collect it, you pull apart that thing. There will be a little puck sitting there that you just kind of press. You'll pull that off, kind of gloves, and also with gloves, you need to clean the gloves. You can't just use gloves right out of a box. Like, whoever's touching hash with gloves right out of a box needs to stop, immediately. And there's powders, even the non-powdered gloves.
I love that taste.
Have powders, so it's
there's some really bad.
He was in the Air Force, though.
Do not want to touch that, or smoke that stuff in the end. You're touching your product with that, and then you're going to smoke that. It's not clean. So gloves are pre-washed. Everything's nice. Everything's like that sticky texture of the glove, really nice. You take that, you're microplaning the resin on a microplaner. You're holding it like like this.
Just like a grater, like a little cheese grater.
Little cheese grater. It's coming out this way, and you're literally just sieving it back and forth across the microplane, and you're moving the microplane across your parchment as you're doing it. You take that tray and you prep your fridge. Ideally, you have a second fridge for this. If you can't afford a freeze dryer, this is the cheapest way to do the best, easiest way. You can set up a tent with a little AC if you want. That kind of works. But you can take a refrigerator, get it so it's just a fridge. It doesn't even or fridge, freezer, everything's cleaned out. The freezer in a fridge, as air moves through a fridge, it condenses in the freezer. So it pulls actually moisture out of a fridge and condenses it in the freezer. So if you set your fridge at, let's say, 40 degrees roughly, or 35 to 40 degrees, it's clean. This is a nice fridge, they're cheap, but you can get a cheap one or whatever, but it doesn't have to be expensive, but it just has to be clean. And it can't have like old musty smells and stuff like that coming out of it and all that stuff, And ideally, it's been running for a few days. It's been, already pre-chilling. All this stuff is already nice and cold. And you put the trays and you stack them just on top of one another, like back and forth. And you just stack all your trays up in there. Shut the fridge. Don't open it for 2 weeks. Come back 2 weeks later, 2 to 3 weeks later, and now you can open up the fridge. The hash should be fully dried at that point. It'll be like a crystalline kind of consistency. Even like, it's clear. This is how ice oil is made, and this is happening in your 120 micron, your 90 micron ice wax, ice oil, things like that. You take that. You take your parchment, you fold it in half, and all the hash kind of falls into the middle, and then you pour that into a cold jar, but that has came up to a room temperature so it doesn't have moisture around the jar, because if you take a jar just out of the freezer, it's going to have moisture. It's just, and then you pour your hash in there, and you're getting it wet again. So it's just like, and that's why having your fridge at like about 40 and your house as low as possible, why this is done in the winter, when the best stuff, can potentially be made in like a home, let's just say. And again, if you have cold rooms and like any of that stuff, like, this isn't necessarily the techniques I'm describing here. This is for your basic, just somebody at home to make really high grade hash. And then at that point, you're pulling it out and you're putting it into a jar. You're sealing that, and then that goes back into the fridge or the freezer, depending on how long term you're trying to store that. Probably the freezer.
I have a quick question. When you're doing the curing method on the hash in a refrigerator, is it the long, slow process? Versus if you let that sit out at room temperature.
Yeah.
Or is it the temperature is also a factor, or could you put it in a dehydrator as per se to quicken, like a food dehydrator or anything like that?
I mean, you can do any of those things and wind up with something in the end.
Right, but
it's way more beneficial. The cold environment is what is like preserving that material.
Keeping it stable as possible.
And the reason you're keeping it in there for 2 weeks is because it takes in a refrigerator, just because it's not a freeze dryer. It's not like a vacuum. There is a vacuum that's created. Obviously, when you shut the door, a vacuum's created when the thing starts running. So that's kind of, but it's not like a full vacuum. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to pull that thing open.
You get a
a
slight hesitation. You get a little feel where you're like,
stainless.
Especially a good fridge. Old fridge, not so much.
We have another use for this place when we're not in sesh. We cash here before.
It's a heater first.
It's pulling that moisture out of that hash slowly
You're not paying attention
into the freezer where it freezes and condenses, like on the coil. So
Patreon.
it's basically like drying out your refrigerator. And you can use it to your advantage by slowly kind of drying that hash out and just drying it out, pulling out that moisture. Now, the content of it going in is important. If you're putting very wet hash into a refrigerator, it's just going to rot. It's just going to mold. That's why you press that and you make it so that the material is basically as dry as possible.
Right, but would you let that sit out for a day, as per se, or?
At that point, the quicker you can get it in the fridge, or the quicker you can get into a colder environment, the better. So it's,
right, but when you're squeezing that patty or whatever, like, you can only get it to like a certain point, and there's still a lot of moisture in there. So would that be detrimental to what you're what you're saying?
Well, part of the microplaning, will break that up also into more of a fine particle, almost like Parmesan cheese.
Right,
really
so you're
fine
grading
Parmesan
it.
cheese.
And that's when it gets dried out better. Yeah.
And you're using the extra fine grater too, if you're doing it like this, so that you're getting it as fine as possible. It's almost like snowflakes. It looks like little snowflakes.
You ever seen Cicada Labs out of Oklahoma?
I haven't.
They have this white powder that you touch it wants to melt together, but until then, you can move it around. It is something. I wonder. It sounds like that.
Yeah. So you can essentially, you get it very stable, and then that slow drying process, that stuff. Yeah. So when you're taking it out of there, basically you wanna keep it cold while you're storing it. When you take it out, it's okay to leave it out for the day or whatever. It's eventually that'll end up turning into what people call wax. It's like it butters out. It turns into like this crystalline kind of thing. And
you want to separate it in a weird way, like slightly. Some more than others.
Exactly.
Oxidized.
That's what pisses me off. Okay, so remember back when everything was in parchment papers and stuff too. Now it's like all the good shit was just soaked into the paper. You'd be like, oh, motherfucker.
Yeah, so
scraping it.
And you look at it, you'd be like, this is all the crap now is left, and all the good shit is soaked into this fucking paper.
In the plant, THCA is not crystalline. So in the actual resin gland, it's not crystalline. And THCA crystallizes at any rate over 50%. So once you've created a hash, you're probably at like 60 to 70 if you're doing it right, maybe even higher potentially, percent THCA, and that's going to want to crystallize pretty much immediately when it's like potential, like when it's rising above, let's say, its most stable point, which if you're storing it at, like, let's say 35 degrees or 30 degrees or 25 degrees, it'll stay stable. But anywhere over that, it begins to melt. And then once that melt happens, then it goes into that kind of crystalline state. And then that's when terpenes can potentially like start to kind of
mitigate or whatever.
Yeah, they'll evaporate even from the material, the more surface area that's in that. So it's important to store hash, I think, in a cold environment. And this is with this methodology. If you're doing like a Frenchy cannoli methodology, or if you're doing like a traditional hashish, it's not. These same rules do not apply, So.
That's where I think in the long term, for a lot of people, I think dry sieve is going to all of a sudden become way more popular when people figure out it's not that hard. It's just like, it's the same deal. You just have to be clean. It's all about having a clean work environment, keeping everything separated, and or having so much material it don't give a fuck, and then you can push it to a certain point and then just static it out and clean it up, and there's always a way, Whereas and I always tell people, I'm like, once you put it in water, you've kind of set the fucking clock going right now, and it's like it is where everything goes wrong for long-term storage. Like you can't,
oxidization.
And he's right. If you left too much water and you put that in there, and you put it in your fridge, it can go bad right away. It's just like
that moisture.
You need to make sure the moisture is removed as possible, and then graded as finely as possible, and then placed into as cold of an environment, because that also, if it's a little warmer, it can also speed up if there is a microbial activity or something in that product. So depends, like freeze dryers. Like really, if you're just talking like the easiest or just the most simplistic way for drying, you're looking at a freeze dryer. You're gonna get a Harvest Right, probably home edition, and it's gonna cost you like $3,000. But you can just stick your you can take your hash right out of that bag, throw it on there, put it in, set the parameters. Unfortunately, on the home editions, like it's a lot of work to get the parameters proper because they don't actually set up their equipment in the right temperature range that you should be drying in. So you actually have to update and basically get new software. So you have to call their technicians and change out. It kind of sucks. So I wouldn't recommend
get the pharmaceutical
diving into,
if you can, if you can afford it.
Yeah,
which is nice. They're always good.
Yeah.
It is the thing that sucks though is when you get really good when you get something like that, you sort of get lazy because then it's like what happens? Oh my God, it's out. It's not working. We're fucked. Like your whole thing is just shut down.
We have like 6 of them,
and they do break, and they do get they're go through a lot of wear and tear, considering they're creating a fucking vacuum. So.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the pumps can.
And then the pumps, that's another whole story right there. And of course you want oilless pumps, and you got to go for the high end everything, and then everything's like you can't have the cheap anything. That's the deal, and that's the thing is with hash.
Full stainless setup, the whole nine.
And then they wonder why it's so expensive, right? On top of everything, why is hash so expensive? And like even back in the day, I remember when I was making just. Like with the pollinator, when I first got the first one, I put it in a fridge and I was just trying to figure out how to make it more efficient. And it was the same deal. I was like, man, I don't even want to sell this for less than like $100 a gram because it's so much work. You know what I mean? And even that was nothing. There wasn't even nearly the amount of steps that you had in making water, but still, just to have to have the right equipment, B, to have that weed to go fill the equipment. That's another whole part.
Oh my gosh!
Because then you realize like, well. You can't set it all up, have just a little bit, run it, and then wait 3 months to run it again. You have to have some sort of flow going, you know what I mean? And
perpetual cycle. And yeah, it's like, and really like at the end of the day, just, be selecting the genetic is really the whole thing here. And it's finding something that's unique to that you enjoy, that you like, but that has potential, to do it. What I would not recommend, basically here's what I would not recommend to use for water extraction, or for ice water extraction. It's do not use strains high in terpenoline. That's number one. So that's Jack Herrera, things like that. When you smell that Jack Herrera, that's terpenoline, and that's
Durbany or Golden Goat.
Yeah, exactly. And those varieties will not wash just because that resin is greasy. That resin, when you touch it, it'll be wet on your fingers.
So is that a characteristic of the terpene?
Yeah, I mean, here's what, very hard to say. I don't want to necessarily claim anything, but there's higher limonene concentrations have been found in Afghani varieties. Limonene concentration is important because most washers have high amounts of limonene, or are dominant in the top 3 terpenes of limonene. Most, I'm not saying all. And charas varieties, so hand-rubbed varieties from maybe more mountainous India regions, are higher in terpenoline concentration. So it could have potentially been the selection over a long period of time for whatever the method that they were using to do it.
Well, it makes sense because it's all greasy and you want that. You want it to, because it sucks when you have the opposite.
Yeah.
Like when you have weed that's not sticky and you're like, this is kind of bullshit, right? It'd be the worst thing for a charas grower, right? They'd be like, this is bullshit. Throw this away, right? They want the greasy. Oh, yeah. So they're always just focusing on grease, for sure. Yeah, completely different style. Makes sense.
Yeah, and
here we are. And then here we are.
I think there's there's just something to be said. It's just probably don't be focusing on those varieties. Like, don't get me wrong, I do run some varieties that will have that, and from time to time, and we've played around with some stuff, and there's been different
Yeah,
hybrids we've tried to
exactly.
create to try to, you know, really see if we can maybe pull in or touch something along those lines. And it's,
I mean, the one thing that is interesting about terpenoline strains, though, is that, like, for people who aren't familiar with it, it's like, oh wow, it's always a wow thing. It's like, wow, what's that? You know, the first, like, how the Durban was around here. You know, when I first came to Colorado, that was real hot, like around 2010. Everybody had it, and I was like, well, I'm sorry to tell you guys, but it's not Durban. Like, it has nothing to do with Durban. It's a great name, but the profile was completely off because it was like, if it was Durban, it would have had a licoricey vibe and been dark and long and thin and had a completely different profile. But also same problem is it didn't, like, it washed, everything washes to a point, but it just wasn't good yielder. And it didn't have the right texture.
And that's the whole thing. It's like, when I say maybe potentially not a good washer, you know, like in this regard, it's around 1% from fresh frozen.
Oh.
So there's still potential, and you know, even in hybrids, there's potential where it's upwards of 2%. Let's just say in from fresh frozen. So there's which really, you know, it's like, even in varieties like papaya or grape pie or, you know, these really fruity, you know, more sought after stuff, they're still hitting like 3. You know, you want to at least hit 3. And even some of those varieties, depending on the time you pull them at, hit even more. You know, there's just like really fine tuning that and really understanding that they can hit upwards, and the conditions you're growing them. I've seen papaya, you know, do 6% or whatever, but it's just like, traditionally it won't. So there's just it's a matter of what you're after. If you're running numbers in your head right now and you're like, well, I have this much fresh frozen and I'm only going to get 2% because it's, you know, at most because it's some Durban cross or whatever, like, then, you know, you might just want to reassess. If it's something like a Chem Dog lineage or something, you know, like that, then probably safe at least testing that out and hitting a 3.5 or something like that. Thank you.
So let's get back to J-Lo's question. Tell us about elementary school.
Tell us about when you first smelled weed. Tell us the first time you smelled weed.
My aunt and uncle kind of, you know, really showed me. I saw my first grow at like big grow. I'm talking when I was like 16.
But just for truth's sake, you're 26, 27?
I'm 30.
30.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I wasn't that far off.
No, it's not that long ago, honestly. But yeah, so I mean, I was into cannabis my whole life. I was rated at 15. Like, you know, I was a lot of
rated at
things
15.
like that.
Rated at 15.
Yeah.
You and J-Lo have stories.
Oh, yeah, you guys are going to get along.
You have any restraining orders against you?
No, I don't.
So, sorry.
Weak.
Yeah.
But
what grade is 15?
It's like 8th grade.
Yeah, I think I got busted in 6th
I
grade.
feel like
so,
15 is like sophomore year.
Yeah.
Don't you like graduate when you're like...
I mean, you know, it's
yeah, because I got busted at like 16 in school.
I just
so
have
it's
a
the same
nephew
thing.
that's 15.
Yeah, and I mean, like, at that point, they, you know, put you on, like, piss tests for
I was way
blah, blah,
before
blah.
any of that shit. They didn't even call the cops. It was great. I was like,
wow.
because this is
That's really nice.
We're talking in the 80s when they didn't have. I was like an anomaly. Like, what? Fucking got caught for weed? I was like, yeah. Well, classic. I didn't get caught. They got caught.
Yeah.
Narked me out. I got narked.
Yeah, I got
narked
narked.
out.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, it's the worst.
I got
Somebody...
narked. But
Somebody Pinsky'd you?
Yeah, I mean, so anyways, like that doesn't even matter. But yeah, that kind of like was just like solidified, you know, that I really like cannabis, and I'm like, fuck this, like
That was your badge.
all these. Yeah, it was just like, I'm not gonna, like, you know, feel bad about a plant that I enjoy that hasn't hurt anyone.
What state we're talking about?
Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
So now you're processing.
What?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, fast forward. Let's say, you know,
You could be on the 90s show.
2012. I partnered with All Greens.
You have a copy of Clerks, by the way?
What's that?
Do you have a copy of Clerks
I
on
don't.
VHS?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry. It would have been cool if you did.
We're looking for one missing in Wisconsin.
Sorry.
Trust me, I mean, I can get you a copy.
We
of
broke
Clerks
the
on
fourth wall.
VHS.
No, it's quite all right. So now in the present day, you're processing weed
Yeah.
at JJ
Yep.
You're responsible for the genetics, or even overseeing the garden, right?
He's the overlord.
Some of the
garden overlord.
Some of the
Dude,
genetics.
that's a great title.
Garden overlord.
Yeah.
No, I'm responsible for some of the genetics, and I wouldn't say like oversee the garden, but I am one of the people that keeps an eye on things. They have their own their own program and everything that they stick to. So, I just roll what they would want to do. I go through, see how each grow is doing. If I see something wrong, or if something's, I say something, but they already have a process.
See something, say something. He does it. He's just following orders, sir.
Sorry to interrupt, but did I say this on the air about?
I don't know.
Remember Joe Stapleton, a friend of mine, a poker player?
Yes.
Came on the show. He said, if you see something, say something. And he saw a woman give her toddler in a bottle Mountain Dew. In a bottle with a nippy on it. You know what I mean? Not like the bottle of Mountain Dew, in that. And he's like, should I be saying something? I'm like, that's just fucked up.
I feel like that
kid's destined for
kid's gonna
failure.
lose all of his teeth anyways. I feel like that'd be the time.
Oh yeah. He's good
that
at
would be the
momming.
time.
Good mom skills.
Yeah.
I'm just
He
saying.
doesn't need those teeth. They're gonna get rot out of his. They're gonna fall out anyway.
Oh, God.
Perfect mom.
Maybe that was her theory.
That sounds like your theory, actually.
I don't have kids.
Obviously.
Go ahead, JJ. Sorry.
Overlord.
Yeah, so
Overlord talk.
Overlord.
Yeah. White
Yeah,
gloves?
so,
Do you use white gloves? That's all we want to know.
Do you
walk around?
sconce anyone?
Do you get to yell at people?
No, I mean,
Well, that's a yes.
He's a
Come
nice
on.
guy,
No, they bring in
Listen.
JJ when they want people to get scared. They're like, no, JJ's coming out.
I try not to keep it personal, and I just try to keep it business. So if I see that's something that's not right, then it's my job to say something, regardless on who it is or what it is.
Chef Ramsay. You're like the Chef Ramsay of Verde.
Fucking love that.
Yeah, and I mean,
that
like,
is so great.
Most of the genetics, like everything we are, creating, everything we're doing, like we're working off JJ's work, and he's instrumental in all the selections, the choices, and those things. So it's really like we're hunting through his gear and pulling out washers from it, and so we're really looking for like special, spectacular stuff in a way to be able to kind of, it's like everything these days is like crossed to cookies or gelato and this shit runts, and it's like, it's just to be able to kind of separate from that completely, going, for gas and for, things that are like this pungencies, like the piff style stuff and just everything. I mean, he brings to the table like some of the most pungent varieties that exist, you really can't find in seed form like that kind of pungency. It's very rare, it's very hard to find. It's like this guy is the shit, it's like, so it's, he's been selecting for that for fucking a long time. He's been pulling out, looking for that, and
he's older than dirt.
It's so funny how people think you're so old. I'm like, no.
He's our age.
I go, he's like my age.
Actually,
Maybe he's like
he's 2 years younger, right?
Are you like a year younger than me?
Right, but but that's the thing now. Kids like to say, "Oh, you old man," this and that. Like it's time. Like I take.
Oh yeah, you're a boomer now.
A lot of work.
No, but a boomer
seeds. Boomer
Because they're all jelly.
Is anybody not them who uses that word jelly?
Yeah. But really, we've been able to do, some really big pheno hunts to find some of some of this stuff. We've popped 100, 200 seeds, of one strain, and and have gone through and we've made the selections and got them tested and reached the point that we are now. There was a little bit of a setback in the grow, which we're getting ready to rebound from. So we lost a little bit of space, and we really haven't been able to, do the really big hunts that we were doing in the beginning. But we're gonna, get back to that real soon. But when we were we were just running a few packs of this and a few packs of that, we were still finding like some incredible stuff that we were just surprised to find. And once we get it into the lab and start washing it, and we're finding different washers and stuff. So it's really exciting just to be able to open up a line and to see what's really in there. And it's pretty incredible to be able to have a chance to do that.
You JJ the Jedi, man. You know your shit. What can I say? I'm glad everybody knows it now. But because for over a decade, some of us knew what the shit was, and he was always the shit.
Well, it is like that gas. It is like that distinctive, like, I don't know. You get ripped no matter what. Like, I can smoke a backwood by myself, and, like, I'll smoke the chem or, like, any of those. And it's just phenomenal.
Well, a lot of it is just, breeding and, towards your personal taste and, being able to get access to some of these rare genetics and to be able to work with them. And it's, it's really the genetics that or that really brings out all this different stuff.
I think also being on the East Coast, you kind of you cut through the bullshit quicker when it comes to genetics, just because people are they're willing to pay.
Right, especially in New York City, where
it's like they'll pay big money for it. They just don't fuck around. Just give me the best. I want the best. Like everybody wants the best.
I spoke to Rich. It's gotten a little crazy down there right now. The uncertainty, the insecurity of what they're smoking, because it's just from willy-nilly. Somebody threw up a sign. They say there's 1,400 illegal dispensaries in Manhattan.
In like bodegas and shit, yeah.
1,400
that they know of.
Yeah, that they know of. So I wasn't surprised, because LA had the same amount for 10 years, and they didn't do anything about it. But there's this fear, like somebody used the term to me, laced. I'm like, come on. I'm like, laced. I don't know. You don't have to worry. I don't think you have to worry about somebody putting fentanyl in the weed. But
it's GMO. You could sneak it into some GMO. No one would be like, that tastes
no,
funny.
But it was. Yeah. But you do have to worry about it having chem in it, and chemicals.
Right. Well, I think that there was a thing that they went around and they did get samples from different dispensaries, and they did run tests on them, and a very high percentage of them, failed for pesticides, mold, or whatever it would be. And I guess it was really the legal market trying to lean on law enforcement to get some of this stuff closed down, saying, look, they're selling contaminated product. But one of the problems is right now is the supply and demand chain. There's not enough supply at the moment. And
there's 300,000 pounds rotting in people's barns from their outdoor crop that they were told to grow.
The quality.
They're all pissed off. They're just like, it was looking so good. Of course.
Well, let's just put it out there. Adam, J-Lo, and I are available to be flown to New York to secret shop all 1,400 of the dispensaries and then have it all tested.
Oh, yeah.
If you know somebody who wants
happening? Okay. There we go.
We're ready. Just send in the GoFundMe and we're there.
But as more legal dispensaries open up, there's going to be more and more raids.
Oh, sure.
And especially probably in the neighborhoods of these dispensaries where they're opening up. Right.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Like every place, if you open it up, they're going to be walk around, take notes, hand it to the fucking guy, and it's over.
Right. But even if you had, what product are they offering? They're offering the outdoor. So it's like, so it's really going to probably take them probably at least 2 years to get up to speed before they get the grows built and have, before the whole supply chain gets, built between the grows and the dispensaries and everything. They're still handing out, licenses and all that. There's people, I was on the phone today with a micro grower, a micro business in Binghamton, and he was saying how he's got to go to these compliance classes for New York, and it's like a 3 month course, and then he's got to go for other stuff afterwards. So he was talking about not even be able to get a license, towards the end of the year. But I guess, he was able to outfit his grow and get it all ready. So the minute he gets his license, he could turn on the lights and get plants in there. So I guess they fast-tracked it on that end where, they don't going through the compliances of the town inspections and the fire department. So I don't know what the whole regiment is. I know what we've gone through at Verde and, how it works here in Denver. So, I don't know how it works in New York.
Right. Well, it's still, the people are there's going to be people getting sick, or getting injured by fucking just pesticide-laden, contaminated, moldy shit.
Well, that could be said about black market concentrates, flour, everything across the board, and especially, if you're importing from, out of state or whatever, there are more and more local New York growers, but the one of the problems is that they can't scale up to the size of the people in California or anywhere else where they got these big commercial type grows that they're just black marketing things. Some people just have an apartment and they might have a couple tents or whatever, and maybe they can small batch 5 pounds or whatever, and that's usually the case in New York, and that's one of the reasons why things have always been high priced. But usually that weed is very high quality, and if it's coming from someone in a circle on a regular basis, more than likely that that product should be safe.
Oh, I'm not thinking of anybody in our circles. I'm just thinking.
No, but I'm just
throwing
saying
names up on the site. They just go throw a leaf up and they go for sale, and that's it. I mean, anywhere they sell it out of everywhere. Every farmer's. I mean, you name it.
Any bodega, or if you have any kind of a storefront, like even though. You might not even smoke weed or have anything to do with it. You might be selling it.
Yeah. It's like having the candy store, right? Whatever you sell, Hershey bars and Snickers, they buy that, so you're gonna.
Right, but then I guess it boils down to the consumer. What kind of a consumer are you? Are you a high-end consumer that's just going to walk into any bodega and start browsing around?
No.
Those things are kind of geared towards the people that are just part-time smokers. They might want to smoke on a weekend. They're up in their apartment. They want to smoke a joint. They go down to the corner, buy a pre-roll or whatever, and they're happy.
So my homie Mateo, DJ Mateo or whatever, he was hanging out. I won't say who it is. I won't blow him up, but famous dude. They're chilling out, and the guy pulls out a joint, and he's like, Mateo takes a hit off. He goes, "Dude, this is terrible. What is this?" He goes, "I bought it at a bodega," and he's like, "Oh, here, let me pull this out." And last time I was with him, I gave him one of the reverse hash joint things.
Oh yeah.
So he had that stashed in his bag, and he pulls it out. He said they smoked half of it, and people were falling over and fucking like. Then he's like, at the end of it all, it was like the smoke was, fucking settling. And he looked over, and he was so high, and he's like, "Now that's a joint." He fucking nailed him. It was funny. He's like, "I fucking got a chance to pull that shit up." Because I gave him like made a flat hash joint, put some weed in there, rolled it up, gave it to him as a special present, and took it. I think he even took it to Hawaii and back because he didn't have the right people, because he was with his family, So he was like, I just kept it in my bag. Then I got it back, and I was at some after party or something like that. And he's a DJ, so
apparently I cut Julian.
It was
off.
a Saturday Night Live person. I should say. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Somebody from Saturday Night Live.
At the All Greens part, did I? I don't know if I did,
What's
but
that?
if I did.
I didn't even
I don't
really
know if it
want
was
to bring
me.
it up. I was just
What's All Greens part?
I'll take J-Lo. I don't know. Somebody
They
says
called me
we
a
cut him
broad.
off.
I got dumb broad. Who is
What?
that broad tonight? Yeah,
No.
MTI. Where was my backup?
What?
What?
What's going on?
What's happening?
Nothing.
What?
You get razzed on the chat now? Are you reading
I
the
don't
chat?
even know what's happening right now.
Are you reading
Well,
the chat?
I'm looking. Somebody had a question and said that we cut Julian off. That's all I was saying. I didn't see anything.
cut him off at the All Greens part.
J-Lo anything.
Oh.
Yeah, I
She's
mean,
been fine tonight. I haven't even
they
given
were
her the
really,
signal.
the first people that were like, "Yo, let's give this a shot. Let's do this," and They had the Kong, they had the cheese. Really, that was the two big ones. I mean, they had like blackberry kush and like little other things or whatever. But like, yeah, the we went through some of the plants in their garden, test washed, some things, or made some small batches of some of the stuff, and I mean, I'm glad because it was the right time. There was like, the cheese, it was not really the best grower. They were, not really that big of a hit anymore. It's old school at that point. It's like people at whatever, and then kind of, hit that, and it was like one of the just like the most profound flavors and just like extremely interesting, crazy terps, and just, I mean, it had like cardamom chai with like almost like a berry kind of thing going on, and like then like a little bit of layered in funk, and just, I mean, it was awesome. And so yeah, they were just they were really cool, and then eventually ended up parting ways with them, just that create just landlord stuff and all this and that, and people trying to charge them more and this and that, and just all that kind of stuff. So
all the classic headaches. Partners, landlords, all the things man.
And yeah, I mean,
compliance.
I'll only say good things about them, Jess and Luke, and that team over there. They're good people. But then I ended up over at Verde. Just we partnered together and really hit it off with their material. Really liked it. Really liked them, and wanted to get into like fully organic material. Wanted to get into that whole thing.
I did not.
Chuck with the lemon man. He's like, got a lot of
anyway because we got Redman coming on soon.
And so that was something that I really.
You definitely landed with a good crew. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was a really good crew, and then we've just been rocking it there for the past 7 years together.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
So,
7 years, so 23 you got the job.
That's so funny because in those 7 years I've dealt with every idiot you could ever deal with, and nothing ever stuck. So there you go.
And
congratulations on sticking to something.
And
That's
it should be noted, that one of their award-winning hash strains, the hazelnut cream, is something that those guys found and hunted out. How many packs was that?
I mean, we hunted through. I mean, initially we went through probably like 60, 70 seeds of that.
Wow.
And then like in all now at this point, I mean, we've went through hundreds. I mean, I don't even know now. I mean, we've done a lot of hazelnut and hazelnut back cross to hazelnut F2, this, that,
and only found that one pheno, and it's kind of like the needle in the haystack, kind of like the GMO also, where, people have been trying to pop packs, trying to recreate it and trying to find those exact phenos and been unsuccessful. Even with the GMO, I mean,
which is crazy because it's my real dominant strain too. Like when you hit it to stuff, you get those funk tones.
Right,
Say you're like,
but
that's a GMO.
But both of them seem to be very recessive, and so when you're trying to hunt that stuff, and and that's what makes them those two in particular very special, because they check all the boxes for flower, for concentrates, And those kind of strains are very hard to find. They're very hard to create, and they exist in the gene pool. But it's a matter of being able to hunt through a gene pool to be able to to find it, to be able to identify it, and to isolate it. And so and then be able to, even if you do that now, if you got hundreds of clones. Or hundreds of plants, and now you have to get clones of that. So there's things that we found that we went to go back to find the clone, and for whatever reason we lost it.
Oh yeah.
So the whole process is just very hard.
Been there, done that. I know.
It's difficult with
that's
metric
sad
too.
when that happened. Oh,
yeah,
man,
or just classically
Pain in the ass
that's insane.
you take clones off of everything. and the one thing you
that you want
is the only
right.
Really, did we not take?
That was the only one you lost.
Like, oh no, those died earlier. Or something. It's crazy.
Right.
It's very Murphy's Law when it comes to clones.
It's always Murphy's
It's the same
Law.
as like trying to sell clones. Like nobody wants them. You got thousands of them. Then you got 0 and everybody wants them.
Right.
Or like the other way around. Nobody wants them. You got thousands of them. And the other way, like the minute you fucking are empty, you getting calls. You're
Everybody.
Like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
What? No, I was just. So we got 2 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Right?
See, are they on time? They give you a heads up?
They're
professionals.
They're professionals.
They're professionals.
Very
They're running
professionals.
Good. We wanted to make
operation.
sure I had a haze joint roll.
So
Which one's this?
That is.
that's the.
This.
I think that's the hazelnut.
It's fire. Yeah, it's good.
So I hate to do this to you, but I
You
gotta
gotta
go
go?
take care of something at the
All right.
house. My dog's there and my wife's working. Appreciate all the support.
Dog's there, wife's working.
We didn't even get
At least
to-
your
we didn't get
dog's
to all of
working.
your-
I'm
Wife's
gonna
there.
come back, I promise. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.
so much for the support. Sorry to have to dip out like this. It was unexpected.
Go ahead, man. It's okay.
where's
Come
the-
back. You're
Seriously,
welcome back
thank
anytime.
you so much for the support.
You've sponsored the show forever. Numb Nuts. Everyone go to
come
Numb
back.
See how
Nuts.
small you are?
Thank
Now look
you,
at now
thank
you guys
you.
are small.
We're gonna
See,
do
look
some
at
more fun
that's
things.
little Adam there. Hey,
Sorry
little
to have to
little
drop
Adam on the
out.
screen. See how small you are?
Oh,
because you're in the you guys are in the
Well, when
you're
he
in the
goes,
little,
we
you're
can
in the
move
little,
JJ
little
over.
kid's chair. You got the little kid's seat.
Well, now we
there.
can move
Appreciate
JJ
it.
over and just get everyone on the screen.
It was a
What
pleasure.
we can do.
What?
I
It
hope
looks
everything
great. I like
Everything
it.
is, I just got to go take care of.
I like
Unfortunately,
it.
it's how life is. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for having
Thanks,
me on.
Adam.
Big hugs.
Thanks,
Be
Adam.
well.
Stayed on longer than Fat Freddy did, though, so that was
Yeah, you beat Fab Five this time. But you're missing out on Redman.
Somebody just said, "Did you
This
just
is
blame it
fire.
on your dog?" That was just the funniest
I was
thing.
just as you were explaining it.
Nothing.
Are you kidding me? Bow wow, numbnuts. Take care of the dogs first. Come on.
Bow wow,
Of
no
course.
nuts. That's
I'll
hilarious.
also leave some of the swag here. Breckenridge Organic Therapy, obviously. Find that badass.
You go to Breckenridge Organic
Yes.
Therapy, ask for the Dunn deal. We don't know what that is. Maybe they'll surprise you.
They'll be happy. They'll be stoked. They'll be like, yes.
If you're in the mountains,
Come
Right
on,
on.
bro. You're
above.
exactly. You have no.
I will grab these though. So
Yeah.
to stay clean.
See,
Turp
turquoise.
That's right. Keeping it clean. Should we do some ads while we're waiting and
Sure.
see in case I'm sure they'll be on time and because we start the ads in 1 minute and they'll show up. Build a soil. Now he's not
Mark,
even
you better
there.
get over there. He's about to
Nah.
zoom in.
It's all happening, Mark.
No
out.
pressure. No pressure, Mark.
Pressure.
I just have to wait
I gave
in the air like that.
Jordan from Tetrahydro Club the link also because he's had Redman play at his spot I think and a couple of his gigs, his festies, the last
Really?
one. Yeah.
Well, that's. It's been a while since I've seen him.
Did you see that cheeseburger, Rosin?
I haven't tried this one yet.
Should we do?
You gotta smell it.
The cheeseburger.
Adam's
that?
got to smell that one.
Cheeseburger. I gave one of these to Mark and Vinny, so we got one of these.
Is that a cheeseburger you guys got over there?
No,
No.
I have Future Diesel.
Oh yeah, Future Diesel.
And Vinny has cheeseburger.
Is the cheeseburger concentrate?
Nah, he got some
I have
hazelnut something or other.
hazelnut cream.
Jordan.
It's hazelnut cream times original haze Chem D. So it's a very layered palette where you kind of get the floralness.
This is the cheeseburger right here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
this
get
is-
kind of the floralness of the original haze, but yet the
Totally,
pith
yeah.
of the piffiness
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
of the hazelnut.
Oh, definitely.
Cheeseburger.
You know,
No flies,
you know
cheap.
who would go nuts for this is fucking Katsu. Oh,
yeah.
my God! If you brought this to the Katsu and showed it to them, get me
Yeah,
all of it.
yeah.
John would go nuts. It's always fun because it's like the Dutch guys there; they love hash, and that's like that shop is one of the. It's funny because it's the first shop I ever sold weed to in Amsterdam, and it's the first shop that I kind of like. As I walked by, I went, "Huh, what's going on there?" And then it turned out to be the fucking. You know, that is the spot. Like if you're into good weed, you go to Amsterdam, you go to Katsu.
One of their bartenders listens to the show.
I hope so. I mean, I know the manager is my best friend from Amsterdam, so he probably doesn't listen to the show because it would be too hard. But shout out to Al, the Katsu. and John and Oppie, and then the original guy is Harry. But when it was like the first shop that I went to, and they're super Dutch. It was so funny because they wanted the weed so bad. They knew it was the best that they've seen in a long time because it was the guy that I was growing with the guy that was really growing it because he was JJ, another JJ, who always gets confused because his company's called General Hydroponics, but it's fucking before. Like
Why
he
would
did
you
it
do that?
because he was already that, and
First.
then he didn't like. He was like, well, fuck it, I don't care. Like he's, living over there. He's American, but he was. Anyway, so it was just funny because it was like the. Oh no, actually, sorry, not general. It was advanced hydro. That's the thing. It was advanced hydroponics, and he was like, he's not. He opened up a shop over there, but he brought over the NL. And here we go, or not? What we got?
There we go.
Here we go.
There he went.
There he goes. But yeah, so it was the NL5. No, it was NL. Let's see, what was it? It was Silver Pearl. So we had the Silver Pearl that he had got from Neville, and he was left Seattle, and he was part of the whole Northern Light crew guys, and he brought that back. So he had it like. Neville kind of gave it to him, and then he brought it back to Amsterdam, and it was just kind of like the classic where the Dutch guys never seen any weed like that. You know what I mean? They were just like, "What the fuck?" It was like, they called it 5-way. It's on the menu there forever as the 5-way. It's basically the Silver Pearl. So it's a good plant. Later, Adam.
Thank you, sir.
Connection coming through, maybe, or no? Again.
How we looking, Mark? Nothing coming through?
We saw the basement. Redman's basement. Live from the basement.
Maybe he had to hide the body or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing that we all haven't had to do.
I'm already.
Well, yeah, we're there. So he's calling in to hype up the consumption park, which is happening on.
Yo.
Yo.
Hello.
Hey.
Yo.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Hello.
Everything is good. How you doing?
We're good. We're chilling.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, dude. So I was just mentioning that you are doing this consumption park on the Super Bowl weekend with Red and those guys. Looks like you're taking on it looks like it's going to be a big fucking party, huh?
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, there it is.
There you are.
Okay. Yeah. It's gonna be. Yeah. It's gonna be. There's going to be something like first of its kind consumption park, especially during Super Bowl weekend. We putting something together where it's about the community at the end of the day. And what I like about it is that it's about the community and people coming through to be communicative, because that's what the world is missing. That's a big major part of what is missing in the cannabis industry is us coming together and being communicative and talking about our problems and talking about our issues and addressing issues. So I wanted to do something more than just a concert and people coming through to see people perform on stage. I mean, yeah, that'd be that too, in a sense, but the main part of this consumption park is about the community and the people of it and unifying, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
for sure. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, it's also like cannabis has always been about community. That's the best part about it. It don't matter where you go. You know, we're based in Denver here. And
I was talking about Denver to somebody today. We was just talking about Denver in this store I go to. It's called Green Life. It's an organic store. We was just talking about the fucking altitude in Denver and how you can pull a bud of cannabis out in 5 minutes, leave it out, and it'll turn to dust.
I know. Yeah,
no, you're wrong about that.
It's called the Colorado Crisp.
It's 4 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe 3.
We call that the Colorado Crisp around here. But you have to be really on point when you're harvesting, and it's all about Yeah,
That's
add in
funny.
there. Add in more.
Screw your jars on tight.
What a great
burp
thing
your
to
can.
be known for.
Burp 'em.
But you know what's funny is if you take a Colorado weed to New York, it rehydrates.
I know, and it smells again. Like you'll be like,
Yeah.
the sour smells like sour. How the fuck? Like the shit around here, it'll definitely suck your terps away. That's for sure. You got
Yeah, about time I get it back to New York is dust. Either I gotta sprinkle it on my food or sniff it.
Or you can turn it into this fine rosin.
That's the worst when you can't roll something up because you're just like inhaling it, even with a crutch. It's just
too dusty.
dust.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's on your teeth
yeah.
and shit.
Hey, wait, where is our Humboldt humidor? Speaking of
Great
keeping weed
shame.
moist.
I didn't bring mine, so I thought we had one here. Where's the humble humidor, my friend?
So we have a humidor for our weed because it does
have to
get
keep it-
dry here.
you
You don't
gotta-
keep it in a humidor, you're fucked.
You got to keep it in there.
Right.
What
are
are you
you-
smoking tonight?
I'm not really smoking right now. I kind of took a year and a half off from smoking.
That's a serious break.
Like I haven't really full blunt in maybe since maybe April of 2021. Wow. I had a 2-hitter quitter here and there. I might have a roll a maybe 3-hitter, and that's it. I don't know. I'm in transformation with myself, and that means that in order for me to get a better reception of what I want to do in my life, I had to cut out a lot of distractions. I still have enough resin in my body to last 20 years. But, just right now, I just had to really fall back and concentrate on a lot of business and most of all, awareness of myself. And, yeah. But hopefully one day I'll be back to rolling a full blunt. Don't tell nobody.
Yeah,
when you're ready to come back, come do it here in the studio with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Thanks,
to
big.
How about
Exactly.
microdosing and psychedelics? That's a big thing now, and it's definitely Colorado took the
Yep.
step recently to go recreational. Oh, not recreational, to decriminalize.
I love microdosing. I don't get to do it a lot, but when I do, I do these gummies. What's the name of them? Ceremony or something like that. Don't quote me, but they're very good, and they're just the right amount in these gummies to. I don't know. It's like a great feeling. First of all, I understand the benefits of microdosing. And when I do it, I'm always in a good mood and I'm around good energy for it to really to work.
Yeah.
In other words, I like it when I do it. It's really lit. It's like fucking lit.
It's definitely the next wave.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's interesting to see because all these things happen in Europe. So you and I met back in Amsterdam. I actually booked you and Devin the Dude to do a party for High Times back in 2007.
Oh,
we gave you a jacket. We were the jacket company with all the jackets and shit. We gave you a red. We made a custom red hood lamp for you with the fake fur on the inside, the winter jacket.
Oh wow, was Chong out there at the time?
I don't think Tommy was there that year. We had supposed to have Devin the Dude, and he missed his flight. So it was you and was supposed to be Slightly Stupid, I think, and then they canceled at the last minute too. So we ended up with we had a whole wacky lineup. We were at the Milk Bag, and you were really high. I got it on video somewhere. It's on YouTube. You were extremely high at that time. Your color was about 3 shades whiter. You were so high. I remember you came in the room and I was like, "Fuck, he can't." And you came out and you started off with just "Yeah, I'm gonna probably forget all the words. I don't think I'm gonna make it through this, but let's do it anyway." And that's kind of how it rolled. But that's how we do in Amsterdam. It was always the same. Artists would come, we get them really high, and they'd forget all the words. It was like the normal. Cypress did it. Everybody did it.
Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah.
Tommy was on the show last week, right?
Yeah, we had Tommy on the show last week. Actually, he comes on.
Wow.
He comes on the regular, so we'll have to get you on the regular. And also, my other friend Jordan books you all the time for shit out East Coast.
Okay.
The pharmacist, you remember him?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's my guy right there. Out there in Boston.
He's in Rhode Island. He's Boston, Rhode Island. So he was my little protege, right? So I did he watched me doing shit, was like, all right, that's the way to do it. But then he took it to the next level. You know what I mean? Because he like I watched him take it from a small little club. You know, he's like kind of styled it after what I was doing. It was kind of funny. But yeah, he's good. I gave him the link. I told him you're going to be on the show, so he might pop in. You never know.
Yeah, shout out to Jordan. That's my guy. Jordan, what's good if you're listening tuned in? So like really like guys like with this consumption part, like something being up like because we planning on, doing it every year, and the Super Bowl is next year is in Vegas, so we're going to be definitely lit in Vegas with this consumption park, and I don't know. It's not the consumption park is more than just like I said about cannabis and people coming out smoking and having a good time. It's about the community, but then again, it's also about artists also coming through and learning about activation and learning about displaying their brand in a different way. We're trying to open doors, we're trying to open doors. We're trying to sort of reinvent the wheel a little bit, where it's we have control. And once we have control of something that can make money, that can, allow artists to have that direct connection with people, then it's always going to work. And it's always going to be something new for the artists because, nowadays artists get into these deals with record labels and stuff, and they just don't have too much say-so on their brand. Like, for example, with the consumption park, I got Doc's Block, and Doc's Block will consist of people performing, my brand, my activation, everything that's about me that represents me, that I want people to see or I want people to be a part of or even buy. That will be my activation, and it's called Doc's Block. And like this year, since it's the first one, they asked me who I wanted performing. Busta Rhymes is my dude. He always get it lit. So I'll ask if they, if Busta Rhymes, my big brother Kid Capri, that's my big bro. We talk every day. And my boys Dog Pound. So I want them to come through and blow it down on stage and also learn about activation and learn about other ways they can promote their brand and also sell items out of their brand. It's a tech world. Right now it's been a tech world, but we want to introduce more tech and stuff like in this fabric so people can learn, not only the community but artists as well. Atlantic Records, they're interested. A lot of people are interested right now. From Cookies to Atlantic Records, but Atlantic Records was like the first label to really call and really want to be a part of it. So shout out to Atlantic Records. Shout out to the consumption team, Alicia, Safita, Lawrence, Red. We all putting in work to really make something really happen for the community and these artists. And, I'm not allowing myself to be a part of anything that's not for purpose. Mm-hmm. And we're about purpose over profit. Once you do that, man, you always going to have a successful outcome in your execution. So shout out to the team. Thank y'all for allowing me to be a part of this. And it's go time. Mm-hmm. We lit in Arizona Super Bowl weekend from the 9th to the 12th or 13th, so when you're out there, check out the consumption park. It's going to be fucking lit. Big facts.
Are you guys, and you're doing are you still doing that cipher, the $250,000 prize cipher?
We're doing a 420 cipher. I teamed up with Coral Red. They want me to actually do a MC show for MCs, and we're going to kind of kick it off through the consumption park, where we're going to have MCs battle, mm-hmm. and then we're going to have them at the finale to do something. It's all part of the same day, mm-hmm. and they have a chance to be on my show. And the show will consist of me going to their hometown or their house filming, because I direct now. So I direct, and I will be, getting the lifestyle of these artists showing the people, showing the world how they maneuver and their ups and downs and their pros and cons to being an artist. And they will have a chance to battle on TV and on a network and win $250,000. And that's a lot of bread for a person these days.
It sure is.
So it's under Red Coral, and I'm sorry I don't remember the name right off the bat, but if you tune in to Consumption Park, go to Consumption Park website, you can find out all that information there.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Fantastic. Maybe there's a podcast you might want to invest in, find it worthwhile of helping build their audience who sit here in Denver, trudging along with two excellent production people over there, but
Dave's always working.
I'm trying to build our brand too.
Right. Yeah, see, I got the video up. Yeah, nice. Yeah, see, it's all about the culture. It's all about fun. Cannabis is more than just recreational. Like one thing I could say we are missing in this cannabis industry, and what I'm also a part of, UEP, the United Empowerment Party. I could tell you guys briefly that I don't make any money off cannabis at all. I'm not one of those artists that have a strain or I white label some cannabis and call it my strain, or I don't have any vape pens, no product out there. I never put no product out. I always save my brand for the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And bigger picture, that I'm a part of is the United Empowerment Party. And this is God's will, because I'm a God-fearing man. And what we're about is the structure and the fabric of the cannabis industry, the unjust. We behind everything from wanting to put someone in a political position in the White House, to expungement clinics tapping into the areas that's been affected by war on drugs, education, awareness about the cannabis industry. And most of all, unifying. The tobacco industry has unification. The liquor industry has unification. They know what palms to grease in a political aspect to keep their liquor industry going, to keep their tobacco industry going. They know how to grease the palms.
Right.
We're no different from the Republican Party. We are no different from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they could come together as one and state their issues, what's wrong in their community or their sector, and try to make change. That's what the United Empowerment Party is about. We're about people coming together to unify, to actually make change and help regulate these laws that's coming about in the cannabis industry. And if we don't do that now, we will be ran over when it goes federal. We will be out of business. A lot of moms and pops will be out of business when it goes federal. Mm-hmm. So we're about unifying. We're about tapping in, holding these political figures that uses the cannabis industry as a stepping stone just to get votes. And then when they get in position, they don't do shit. We hold these people accountable. We're after them. We're letting them know, no, you cannot step on the cannabis industry like that no more.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And besides that, you can check us out at the United Empowerment Party on IG or the website www.unitedempowermentparty.org. And just check out the work we're doing. And if you want to be a part or you want to make a donation to what we're doing, please feel free. Like I said, we don't make any money off the cannabis plant at all. Our job is giving the plant back to the people. So please check us out. And they will be at Consumption Park as well as part of my activation.
That's amazing. Red, I mean, I hope I'm not the first person to ask this, but maybe I am. But what would you think about yourself running for office?
Oh, man, don't even start. I'm waiting for Kanye to do it.
Yeah, take a bullet for you. Like waiting for he'll take a couple arrows. Like, all right, now I'm stepping in.
Yeah, when Kanye run for president, I'll vote for him and and see if he gets shot or not.
Oh, okay then.
If you don't get shot, then I think about running for a political position.
I feel you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
This is
Shout out to my sister Sophia, the artist. She is the president of the United Empowerment Party. Shout out to my team, the United Empowerment Party. We are putting in so much work, and sometimes it get frustrating when you're doing a lot of work for free. Like everything we doing is for free. So that is our free viable time that we dedicate to the people, to the plant. One of our biggest goals and what I want to see is really us going after descheduling cannabis off of Schedule 1. And once we do that, then we're unstoppable. The cannabis industry is unstoppable. But I can say in layman terms and in short terms that if we don't unify now, if we don't bring up, that's why the logo is an umbrella. Like, me and my sister talked about the logo, and I had my guy, Pat, draw the logo. And it's an umbrella with like a cannabis plant on top, meaning that we must unify under one umbrella. Because at the end of the day, guys, we always go to these events and like in Vegas or MJ Biz or, any house Hall of Flowers. And these events are great. These events are great for people to come through and talk business and, see each other brand. But we always leave there without a solution. We just show each other brand and we back in our space without any solutions on what we can do to unify. So we must unify and at least come up with some solutions. When we go to these events and we have these panels where we talk on, let's not just talk about what our brand is doing. Let's talk about the survival of the cannabis industry and the fabric of it and what we can do to save it before federal come in, because they're just waiting in the wing.
Oh, yeah.
And if we don't by now, we are in trouble. I can't even stress that even no more to everyone. Like, we must unify right now.
Yeah, because right now everybody's in their little islands, they have their little around each state
echo chambers.
Right.
Exactly. And so then and everybody's kind of knows what's going on for a little bit in other people's places, but not really, because it changes on a daily, so you have to be on top of it. And yeah, I always tell people, I always tell investors, I'm like, if you don't do it now and you wait for it to go federal, you're fucking done, because there's going to be your money's going to be nothing. At that point, your 10 million or even your 100 million is nothing, because once it goes that big, you're swimming upstream at that point.
Yeah, then you're competing against corporate dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When you competing against corporate dollars, you will not win at all. For example, when you have the CEOs of Coca-Cola selling their shares of Coca-Cola and then explaining to the people that we want to be the Coca-Cola of cannabis, that's big. When you have Walgreens and Rite Aid that's buying up farms over 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago, preparing to sell cannabis over the counter one day, we're in trouble, because they know we're not getting our shit together. These little moms and pop stores, like I said, in legacies, will be wiped out. And that comes from not educating ourselves. We have to educate ourselves about the cannabis industry. And I mean by that is, not just jumping in the program trying to get a license. Everyone is running to get a license and not knowing how to sustain a license. And then again, you got a lot of programs that's setting people up for failure.
Oh, yeah.
For example, this program in New York, I forgot the name of it, but they was just giving out licenses to people who's been incarcerated for cannabis. And they give out these licenses and they not giving them the education on how to sustain a license. So meaning they're setting them up for failure.
Of course.
They know they're not going to be able to buy a property to run a dispensary. and they know the amount of time they have on these licenses to get something done. They know they're not going to meet the quota. And once the quota is over, they take the licenses back and just say, hey, we did something.
Yeah. And hopefully they did some good work on the place. So they got their upscaled their quality. They're building a little bit for them, you know?
And that's because we allow a lot of these businesses to throw social equity around. And social equity is like the welfare word of the cannabis industry. That's why me and my sister, she came up with another way of flipping that social equity. We use equity empowerment. We want to empower the people. We want to empower you to educate yourself, to learn about the industry. And whatever we do, any programs that we prepare will not be set up for failure. That's why we the first, shout out to my team in New Jersey too. Just to let you guys know what kind of work that we're doing. We are the first ones to start a program called the Technical Assistance Program. And it's the first one of its kind in the United States, period. And it started in New Jersey. And I'm a part of it. And it's a bill. And what it is we actually help people get a license. Not only help people get a license, but we help them sustain a license. And we also have $250,000 worth of grants to give these people to help run their license and keep that license. And we help educate them from growing to having a license to running a business. And we're staying on them. We're not letting them fall into the shadows of what these other programs do that say, quote unquote, social equity. So let's drop that word social equity, because actually no one knows what the fuck it means. I don't even know what the fuck it means.
It definitely got saturated in the market. It was like buzzword of the week.
It doesn't mean what you think it means. It's like No Child Left Behind. It sounds good for a second, and then you got to think and talk through, and it doesn't have anything to it.
Right, but some of the qualifications, you got to be incarcerated, and then they want you to come out of jail and then run a successful business for 2 years and employ 6 people. Like, how many people can achieve that?
How many people with a business degree can do that?
It's like the 5 licenses in Florida, right? That are possible.
There was
it's just setting up our people for failure, and that goes for all cultures. It goes for all cultures. What they're setting people up. You can be white, black, Asian, Spanish. They're setting us up for failure. And at the end of the day, just as much as we're working to unify, the tobacco industry, the liquor industry is spending money to stop us. The medical industry, they don't want cannabis to go through because that stops their funds. So they're spending money to stop us. They're trying to throw wrenches in the program. That's why I say, if we don't unify now and really, even me, I'm still educating myself. I have a lot to learn. But one thing I do know is I know the basic outcome of what's going on in this industry, what we need to do to solidify our position. And that is strictly unifying under one umbrella and educating ourselves and start using these events that we go to, not just for recreational, not just for showing off our brands, but coming up with solutions. Mm-hmm. And that's what UEP is about. That's what the Consumption Park is about. That's why, even with Consumption Park, like I said, we just not having people come through performing. We have setups, we have, games, we have a zip line, we have volleyball, we have, big chess games, big chess boards, the big cornhole. I don't like the name.
Big cornhole. Yeah, I got you.
It had me at zipline.
we have these games and these one-on-one games that people can play that you might not even know, but you can actually come there and talk and make deals at Consumption Park. So at the end of the day, that's what we want to create. We want to create an ecosystem of people coming through to really be communicative with each other. So I don't know. Let's create history. That's how I look at it. And like I said, we're not reinventing the wheel, but we just reinventing some of the activities of this type of festival. And we want to be a little different. And this is our first one, and it's going to be one of many.
Yeah, when Red was on the show, he was definitely emphasizing that Vegas is where is really the goal. This is sort of the precursor to it, and it's like instead of waiting another year to do it in Vegas, do it now and get the kinks out too. You know,
100%.
It's also one of those things. You know, Phoenix is a good spot to do that.
Phoenix is such a good party.
Oh, he's putting something together that appears to have legs right now. And while it was too soon for us to get out there for this Super Bowl, knowing that it's in Las Vegas, we have a little experience with throwing interesting house parties in Vegas. So we'll definitely be there for next year.
Okay, good. Shout out to Red, too, because even hearing a story on Red and his adversities, you know, he wanted to try to work on this consumption park last year, you know, for this year. Mm-hmm. And he just, you know, ran into people who just wasn't about their business. And, you know, at the end of the day, Red is a God-fearing man as well. And he was like, you know what? God told him to keep pushing on, keep pushing, and get the right people in the circle to make it happen. Right. And my sister, we're God-fearing people as well. And one thing we do bring to the table is faith, and we do bring the fabric of what God wants us to do. So, and I'm looking at something of this magnitude, like, wow, okay, we really going to get this going in the beginning, because we really came together in the beginning of the month of January. Yeah. We started talking about in November, where we met Red in November at the MJ Biz. And mind you, like, me and my sister wasn't supposed to go because I had something to do. But then a show came up with High Times, and my manager was like, yo, we going to Vegas. And I was like, all right, cool. So I was like, yo, I told my sister, I like, yo, I got to get you out to Vegas. So I flew out to Vegas. And for a place that we wasn't going to go, we run into Red, you know, with something of this magnitude. So that's, you know, that was just God connecting us. And we literally started talking about the ideas of it in December and really going at it in January. Mm-hmm. And me being in the business of this industry, something of this magnitude needs like a year or two of planning.
For sure.
But we're getting it together, and we know everything ain't going to be super. Everything ain't going to be grand when you do it the first time. You're always going to have learning lessons, that learning curves that you need to learn for the next one. So we're going full steam ahead, and we're going to knock this out. We're going to be in Arizona the 10th to the 12th, and we're going to get it on Consumption Park. You know?
Yeah, we had Red on the show, and I'm pretty sure we have a done deal code. So for anyone listening, you can go to the Consumption Park website, buy tickets, and in the promo field, enter done deal for some sort of discount.
Right. And I'm gonna be hosting Consumption Park on my social media as well, starting Sunday, because I'm on a fast, and when I'm on a fast, I don't deal with no social media, you know, no eating at a certain time or whatever. So you can also check my IG, Redman Gilla, REDMANGILLA, and you can check out details on there as well. Also about the 420 Red Coral Battle. How to sign up there as well. Just go to Consumption Park right now, the website, and find out details on how you can be a part of it.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. So much for your time. You were great.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah, really. Honor.
No, anytime. You know, I'm always in Denver. I show Denver a lot of love. Red Rocks is always our place where we at every year. Yep. Shout out to Adam, who always bring Red and Meth out for shows out there. Shout out to my boy Adam. Shout out to my boy Reed from Denver. Shout out to my sister Meng Yi that lives in Denver. She has her radio show out there. Yeah, I love Denver. Denver always had a love for Red and Meth and hip hop, period. So anytime I'm out there, you guys need me, I'm here.
Sounds good, man.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I'm in touch with Safita, so we'll stay in touch anytime you come to Denver. And you're more than welcome. We have a first class studio here.
Oh yeah, if you could see what was behind this,
really nice environment.
you'd be in shock.
Yeah.
You'd be shocked.
Yeah, I got a lot of cannabis products on that table there. I see. Anybody there? I mean, it looks good. I don't see nobody really smoking.
We're all smoking.
Well, we were smoking the whole time. I just didn't want to dab and start coughing
it's
while
so
you were
good.
talking.
That's why, you know.
We like our dabs here. Everybody likes their dabs here, you know. So
they don't let me smoke my backwoods.
For your friends that
everybody.
dab, tell them about the Dab X. Okay, even though you're not smoking right now, your friends that use concentrates, this is the dab rig they want.
Oh wow! Speaking of dabbing, I'm also executive producing and directing, and like a co-founder of Dab Roast, and the Dab Roast is a content-driven show that I'm shooting and directing with my boy Scott in Seattle. And what we're doing is we're displaying the culture of the cannabis culture, but also not just from a flower aspect, from concentrate aspect, because, you know, even when I started shooting the show, I didn't know how big the dab community is. Oh. The dab community is humongous. And that's one thing that I'm glad I learned, because on the East Coast, people don't really dab that much because they look at holding a pipe to their mouth is cool.
We know. So I'm from New York originally. We're all New York. Yeah, so.
We want to introduce you to Julian right here, okay, from Dab Logic. And
his eyes about popped out of his head.
These guys are fire rosin makers.
So next time you're in town, we'll definitely shower you with some shit. So don't worry.
Look, I wish you could see what we're seeing, but you know, it might be one of those moments where you do your 3 hitting out day.
Perfect, perfect for a one-hitter quitter right there.
One-hitter quitter. And because this is amazing. So
the thing is, like you were saying about the terps right out of the gate, right? It's just the fucking we either battle the terps with that, or we just fresh freeze it and make the best concentrates, because we're at high altitude. So the high altitude is where you want to be for making concentrates, right? Nepal, all the greatest places, because you want it to be cold. So if you're going to be in a nice hot place and then have to run your air conditioning like full blast, you never have that like natural fucking spot, right? Where it's much easier to be in an air conditioned spot in a cold place, because your air conditioning barely runs, you know, maybe in the winter, not at all, you know. So it's beneficial. So
good.
So yeah, next time you're here, we'll fucking hang out.
Yeah, I'll get you a gift basket too.
Because like I said, we tap in with the flower, and we also have dab contests on our show. Also, we display different brands that make concentrates and that makes dab, and I also learned how to make concentrates. ETS showed me how to make dabs, and that is Extract Tech Stainless. And are they in Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are in Denver.
Yeah, we know. I know them.
Well, if you ever want to do a competition, we would love to help curate that and host it. We have a little bit of experience with dabbing.
Slight experience.
Yeah, a little bit. Our guys are sitting over there going, "Holy shit!" We have a team. If we need to put a team together, we have a tremendous shortstop.
Okay, well, check us out. Like I said, hit my sister Safita, and check us out at Roast. What we doing? ETS is really a big part of the Dab Roast. They are family. They are our big supporter as well. And I actually got a license on learning how to run one of their machines. I took a 2-hour crash course on learning how to run the machine. And I'm planning on coming to Denver to do the 8-hour course to really learn the detail running the machine. So,
the guy from the Adam Dunn show is going to be hitting them up a little later and getting them to come on the show in a couple of weeks. Don't worry. He usually does shit like that while asking for the done deal. So,
give him my love at the end of the day.
I will. Thank you again.
All right,
for
man.
your
Thanks,
time.
Reg.
Thank you again. I appreciate you guys having me. And I'll see y'all at Consumption Park next year if y'all don't make it to this one.
Right? We may send you, right? You can
Well,
go
Yeah.
home. She's from Phoenix
Of course.
originally.
And Mark has a couple of
Except
friends
for-
in the Phoenix area that I think want to attend, so I'll give Red a call and
Okay.
Send some.
Shout-
We'll send some peeps there for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to my team UEP. Shout out to my Consumption Park team. Shout out to my Dad Roast team. Shout out to my team Richmond Hood Company out in Staten Island, New York. If you guys ever out there, anybody want to look at some gear, we have a store out there, a little boutique. You can check us out at www.richmondhood.com or stop by and see us, 827 Castleton Avenue, Staten Island, New York. And yeah, we on the rise. So check us out. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, man. Peace out.
Thank you so much for your time.
Talk soon.
Peace.
Thank you.
Nice.
Very nice.
Right on time. We only 2 minutes past. We almost nailed it at 7:10. Would have been like epic.
What?
No,
So,
I
yeah.
checked with Safita just to make sure we didn't have a hard stop. She's like, if he's still talking, let him go. I'm
Yeah,
like,
cool.
okay.
All right, there you go. No, it was good. It was good. Great info. Surprising he's
awesome.
not smoking for a year and a half. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, that's crazy.
But microdosing,
But microdosing and very happy and healthy living. Healthy and happy.
Yeah.
Like I said, but I've had Patreon. When we do Patreon, we'll do the links to some of the videos that are from the year I did the fashion show / party with him, and it's supposed to be Slightly Stupid, Devin the Dude and him, and then everybody canceled except for him. It was like classic. It was like one of those
that's great.
classic stoner day. Like what? So yeah.
Should we breeze through our,
We're gonna
advertisers?
Not breeze because we never breeze.
Well,
but we're
we-
gonna
we'll
breeze-ish.
communicate.
Yeah, we're gonna
breeze-ish.
breeze-ish.
What?
Yeah,
We're
well,
going to
'cause-
breeze right over to
Let's go
buildasoil.com.
Oh, speaking about growing the best of the best and the cleanest of the clean. If you're going to start with clean organic cannabis, you're going to even be a better hash maker because you started with the best. And Jeremy's done all the hard work. You just have to do the grind, and part of the grind is getting some of the best initial inputs. Like you were saying earlier about your soil, you can buy soil pre-made from him. You can build your own soil, obviously. That's why they would call it build a soil. But they can also just call them. You call them at 855-877-SOIL. Say, hey, I'm looking at this thing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what KNF means. You can go right to their website, and they have tons of videos.
But give them a call. Ask to speak to someone there.
If you want the
and
done deal.
ask for the done deal.
Yeah, when you're done figuring out the shit, you go to then you got to call them up and say, all right, I want that done deal, and they'll punch it in for you. Booyah.
Green Farms Med. Colorado Springs, you have to have a med card. Just hit up, you ask for the done deal there. It's an amazing done deal. It might be our best done deal.
Also no-till grown.
No-till organic.
Rarity these
Rare
days.
strains these days. You can, I believe there is a strain in the gummish category. Some type of bubbly gum or
Is there?
delicious or
Oh,
something.
no,
he
has some other.
It might be bubble gum, maybe.
But I think he
anyway,
calls
go to
it
Green
something
Farms
different.
Med
Calls it something
in
different.
Colorado Springs.
It's all good. Oh, you know what? If I made a bucket for fucking way to grow, then I would probably, if I made the bucket, then I would probably have a whole bunch of these harvest trimmers.
I know that's what I thought when I saw those. It's you guys don't understand. It took like a year for them to take that idea seriously.
So Green Bros is the only company accepted as far as trim goes with most hash makers.
Oh yeah.
That bucket.
Yeah, you ever use Green Bros? Because we have had confirmation from a few that
they make
they do the slanted ones.
tumbler.
It doesn't
yeah.
tumble.
Oh yeah, I have one.
Triangle.
So those actually make much cleaner trim, and they don't get the friction going because they don't go fast enough, and they also don't get rolled and rolled, which will fuck them up. So check them out, greenbros.com. 5% off on all their Big Daddy deals.
5% off on big ticket
10%
items. 10% off on the bucket.
On the bucket. And the bucket's dope. It just sits right on top of your 5 gallon.
We did an equivalency.
Mhm.
It's equal to 3 Marks or 1.5 Adams.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we really?
Greenbros.com.
Did you guys see the mousetrap
Did we
bucket?
really?
Oh my gosh, Apothecary! I sent you something.
Can't
on
use
them.
it as a mousetrap.
They're having a grand opening. They sent that to me to send, so you can put it up there. They
Yes.
opened up a new store in Manitou Springs, right?
No, it's a Garden of the Gods.
Garden of the Gods.
Yes. And
way cooler than Manitou Springs.
Everybody gets real.
tomorrow, January 28th, they're running some crazy deals over at the Garden of the Gods store. And actually, I guess they're doing deals all over the place. But
Deals.
Yeah, I mean,
all over the
4 grams for $100 on hash rosin. We got.
Think of all the work. Think of all the steps he said
of ambrosia and batter for 100.
Combine that with rosin.
There's some definite good deals going down. So head up Garden of the Gods, their new location down there, Apothecary Farms.
Apothecary.
Yes, sir. Oh, speaking of which, we just hyped it because we don't have to hype it. We love it.
DabX Go. Enter Dunn Deal at checkout. 20%
also,
off.
DabX
and the Rocket.
This
Amazing
can go on
product.
anything. I just use their classic, but can go on anything. This is like easy to clean. Boom, boom. It's done.
It's the most simple yet advanced dab rig you will ever use.
Science.
I have cleaned it literally once. I have put the thing in the freezer twice. That's it.
Key to the whole thing is go back to the show that we had him on. He explains how the resin goes one direction, the vapor goes the other direction. They never mix and mingle. Normally it goes through the goop to get to your mouth. It's like, that's not so smart. Unless you keep your shit just super clean, which none of us do.
This is what interesting. Does it not get clogged either? Does it get
No.
clogged?
It can.
I was just curious.
No, what happens
just
is
take the piece out, you shake it in alcohol, you run it through hot water.
Because it's like, it'll be like slow reaction because it's got they just take the whole thing, throw it in alcohol. Put it back on. It goes good to go. And
That's very nice.
What's interesting about it though, in these is that you think of the old school where it sits on top and it cooks and then it goes up and goes down. This actually drops down and cooks underneath the thing. So it's
on the way down.
It's weird.
You'll learn about it.
The vapor path and the path that the resin goes down is totally separated.
Yeah, and then the resin keeps going and the vapor goes that way. It goes side. On this one it goes sideways, but on the other one it goes
Dabx.com.
But they never mingle.
Ozo Coffee, here is a change to announce.
Oh, changes. We don't like changes.
This will be a tough
don't like
one.
Changes, Daddy.
You're going to have to work with it here.
Some crowd participation is required.
No, because we just need to do some data tracking.
Different codes and stuff.
So it is Dunn Deal 23. 23. Dunn Deal 23 to get your 20% off.
As in the last 2 digits of the year this year.
Correct.
Oh, I thought it was Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Can you remember that, Stoners?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Ozo Coffee.
23, the year.
No, not Ozo Coffee.
Dunn Deal 23.
He already fucked up. See, he said Ozo Coffee 23 because he gets
OzoCoffee.com.
got traveled. He went
OzoCoffee.com. Dunn Deal 23.
Dunn
is the
Deal.
code.
Dunn Deal
23. Don't confuse the crowds.
14 or Boulder.
So it's an interesting
another
thing.
quality product. See, we only would deal with quality people around here.
Only quality, but here's an interesting thing. You know what happened while we were on the show tonight?
What happened?
You
got fired.
I got an interesting text message from the 14er,
boss.
The boss.
That's saying
the bot contacted you.
No. I signed up for text
for their
messaging.
sale or whatever.
It says now they will have exclusive deals. So maybe it's time. I wrote to Sean to say, how about we set up an exclusive Dunn deal?
Well, if they have an exclusive deal,
let's set something up there.
Just so we can track. That's it.
I mean, we'll call it Code Mike Denver.
Just so we know that everyone loves it because they come here and listen here and they think those guys know what they're talking about. Look at that Star Dog. Wait a minute.
On reserve.
Hold on a minute. Hold your horses.
Hold on, easy.
I think Don and Aaron are calling right now with Kosher Kush.
Is that JJ Stardog?
And Motor Breath. Is that fucking Thug Pug or what's that?
I don't know.
Who did the Motor Breath?
I don't know.
JJ? Is that Thug Pug or no?
No. Thug Pug.
But he worked with it.
Pisces.
He did.
Pisces.
Pisces. Okay.
Metallica did a cover.
There you
Oh,
go.
Vinny. So go to 14er Boulder. You can go to 14erboulder.com. It's on Mapleton between 28th and 30th. You can walk in and purchase, or you can go place a pre-order. You'll be happy to know
soon.
they're out of all of the fanny packs that had DJC's face right on the crotch area.
What did you go grab them all or what? You did.
Closest
I mean,
You
Mark
and,
bought 'em
you
all,
and Vinny
you
just kept
fucker, right?
going.
No,
in
I
and out.
had the scarf where your face was right over my mouth. Or
Wasn't that
whatever.
great?
Yeah,
Who did that?
They did for COVID, remember?
Yeah, they're Corvid scarves.
Gross.
I didn't see this.
When the world broke. Anyway, 14erboulder.com.
That is why the world broke.
Stash Logics with an X. products.
Once those were printed, it was like whole thing shifted.
Enter Dunn deal at checkout. You need
Speaking
to
of
have
fanny packs,
a legal
lockable fanny pack.
You can put your Apothecary Farms, your
Now we're
14
talking,
holder.
right?
Needs to be locked.
Your Dab Logics and your Stash Logics.
Yep.
I mean, this all rhymes. It's
Locked.
You're like a rapper, dude.
I mean, it
we
rubbed
had
off on
we
me.
had Redman on. So
It really,
you
I know.
You rubbed off.
I mean, no, he rubbed off on me. I'm influenced. All right,
Stash
Logics.
That's
Done
what
deal.
I said. It rubbed off.
Hempen.co.
Oh, I got the lights with me. I
Shout
got
out
the
to
lights in the
Sarah.
car. I got the lights in the car for
The
him.
best
Good.
CBD
Cool.
products that you
I got
can
the
get.
seeds and the lights.
Oh, there we
It's
go.
like
Everything he needs.
I'm on the way.
I got your lights too.
Hempen.co, I got
Yes, you
that.
get if you use the Dunn deal at checkout, you get
Somehow
2 for 1.
You gotta figure out
For
how
one
to
more
do
month.
a
Are we doing?
code.
How long are we doing the 2 for 1?
Put it in your name. That'd be the best way.
Just don't
Don't
what-
start confusing people.
Wait, stop.
We already
Don't-
confused them once. You can only confuse the people once per show.
Adam, you're breaking a
Just
rule
try.
here. Don't try to ask for an ending. If he didn't offer an ending, just assume it never ends.
Oh, never ends. Okay, good.
It never
Okay, come
ends.
on.
Never
2 for 1
ending,
never
2
ends.
for
2 for
1.
1.
For
Enter
the
Dunn
Dunn
He's just
deal.
gonna make really small little packages.
No, he's
to be
got
like,
Hey.
like he used to be so much bigger.
That rosin gram looks like a third of a gram.
What does it?
No, that's what I'm trying to go with. What your philosophy is? No, it isn't.
no.
You get 2 full vials.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
it's a.
But it could be smaller. I was just saying, smaller.
I was
Right?
so excited.
Anyway, it's too complicated for you to understand.
Yeah, don't get that garbage gas station.
Yeah, that
Pick this
stuff
up.
makes you forget.
Hempen.co. Yeah, I know. Because look at me.
Makes
I
you
got
stutter and forget.
yeah, all that lead.
You'll end up like
Anyways,
you'll end up like MTI. I'll let it
yeah,
out.
look at me.
One of our
Fishheadfarms.com.
longest sponsors, Fishhead Farms, or at
Oh,
Fishhead-
as I was sending out all the Patreon people their packages, I was like, oh yeah, let's throw that in there, right? Totally not thinking about it. I get there, had like 50 of them stacked. Hand it to the lady. She's like, you don't have any liquids in here, do you? And I was just like, oh, just fish it. I didn't say it. Yeah, can you open up one, please? No, I didn't. I just was like, I shook one next to my ear. I go, totally can hear it. I was like, no, I don't have any fucking liquids in there. She like stamped it all, threw it in the thing. But I forget who it was, but somebody got it, and he's like been growing. He was like, he literally did exactly what he said. He's been growing forever. He's like, I've been growing forever. I threw it on. Oh my God, my plants were praying like I've never seen them before. Good shit. So there you go. That was just one of the people.
Amazing product.
made it to Canada.
Use it all on
Liquid
all our
Canada.
vegetables
I got
and our cannabis.
Could have been so many more cool things.
25% off.
25% off.
Done deal at checkout.
Fishheadfarms.com.
Great shit. Great shit. Speaking of great shit, Culture Biologics is a carbon-based organic made here in Colorado. Well, I don't know, made, I guess.
Originated
from here.
Formulated.
Formulated by Tim McCormick. Super smart guy. You can listen to him on the show, and you can check him out on his Discord channel. He's got a really strong one. Actually, I forgot to mention that I won Meme Lord on their. I did my on their contest. I came in and I slid in the day before they decided. Threw my meme up. Got more people in one day than they all did the entire thing. I was like crushed. I came in. I was like, I crushed you all.
This is great.
Because I used
what
their
meme?
One meme. That's
I'm
it.
very
Which
proud
one?
of you, man.
Very original. I'll send it to Mark.
Patreon. No, we'll get it only on
Oh yeah,
Patreon.
you can only get it
you
on
have to-
Patreon.
Yeah,
There you go.
You got to
Step
subscribe
it
to
up with-
Patreon to see
I
that
mean, I'm
meme.
surprised you tried to. I mean, you already got.
Or
him
you can join
smoking
the Discord.
cigarettes
Actually,
again.
it's easier. Just join the Discord channel. It's
Now
way
you're
easier.
going to take his memes from him.
Oh yeah,
No.
just join
yeah.
the Culture Biologics Discord.
CultureBiologics.com.
Check them out and
20%?
It's up to 4 times your money back.
15% off.
Or eternal
But check them
salvation.
out, and they'll have them back on the show soon enough. And if you're listening to Patreon, you can watch. You can check out my garden. I'm on week 7, so I just stopped feeding them Culture Biologics. So you can check
Stopped.
They're looking sweet.
Cultured Biologics.
Check them out. Oh, these guys.
Look at that. They made it into
There's
the...
lots of people on this. Here.
Look at that. So, Verde Natural Gardens, you can find them in Boulder, in Denver, and where else?
That's it.
That's it. Boulder and Denver.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Denver.
It covers.
Living soil cannabis, organic, slow cured, hand trimmed, and I don't have to tell you about that guy over there. That's a rosin Jedi, or this guy over here, freaking breeding Jedi. And trust me, the reason why their garden is run right is because nobody wants to cross him. Yeah, when you went, he's so nice. I'm like, that's because the garden is running right. But if he needs to, whoosh, or he will just.
New York minute over here.
Yeah. So pizza and bagels to everybody. Verde Natural, Dab Logic. Thank you guys for coming on board. Sorry, I did not send you the link tonight, Chuck Lemon. Look, the whole show was about you guys.
Yeah.
You were on a couple of weeks ago, and you weren't going to come in on video. So, next week.
Sure.
We miss you, Chuck.
Aww.
Oh, yeah.
So, Vinny memed me a few days ago.
Good times.
Good times. Good times.
Great.
So, Fun Guy Farms. Just go to their website.
I didn't see this meme.
Take a look at...
Meme?
I did not see this meme.
I want to see a meme.
I want to see a meme now.
Well, again, Jamie, why don't you put it up, Jamie? Anyway, funguyfarms.com or at Fungi Farms with a Z on Instagram. Rare and exotic genetics, compliant and legal in Colorado.
Check them out.
Check them out. And Vinny will play the video. Maybe you want to do it on Patreon.
Yeah,
Probably
all this stuff is happening on Patreon. We got to get to Terp Wipes.
Terpwipes.com/done deal. No need to enter a code. It does it for you.
Just do it.
We know when people talk about cleanliness as much as Julian, we knew he would appreciate Terp Wipes. He'd be like, I could use those for sure.
Terp Wipes.
Yes, sir. Bio365.
You would love this. Deadhead Run.
I know him.
Yeah, good.
Brennan and
sweet.
And
Bio365 is slowly, they're slowly creeping over the industry. You start to see everyone they're aligning themselves with a lot of good growers, and their product speaks for itself. So it's definitely an awesome product line. And
send me an
good
email.
Group of people. So
Done deal at AdamDunnShow.com. If you're a commercial garden anywhere in the United States, we will have.
Someone did send you an email there.
They did. I missed it.
Dave.
We forwarded it to me at
Dave.
it's not working right now. I'm not getting
He's
any
been working
Adam
at
Dunn
the
Show
police
email.
station. It makes it difficult.
Yeah, they read my email
Well,
first.
they have to switch that over for you then.
No, we have to read it first and
doesn't
check
work.
it, and we do analyze. We analyze all of the mail coming.
Sanitize
it. Yeah.
We have a new song for Dave.
That's for sure. No, yeah, check them out. 365
Bio365.com
sorry.
at Bio365 on Instagram.
That's right. Oh, there he is. Look at that. We have
had
the stack.
a
He brought
pet
the stack.
emergency.
He brought it. He brought
This-
the exact stack.
This peanut butter right here, this
That's the almond stuff.
cinnamon almond butter,
That's so good.
That is good.
is the best nut butter that I've ever had in my mouth.
And he's quite the
That's not
connoisseur.
He loves saying nut butter. He just
He's the
says it
connoisseur.
so
He really is.
confidently.
You love nut butter in your
Since
mouth
his
too.
skateboard days.
I
I
actually
was
told him
just
I had
saying
some
that.
last night, like, because I knew he was coming, so I was like, I bet he's going to bring some
Skate
more,
man,
so
fucking-
I can just mow this whole thing. Yeah.
That
It was, like
really
it was
dope.
literally like
That
a
really-
1:30 in the morning a decision that I made. I was like, I'm turning my waffle
You
maker
ate-
into
God.
like a double pocket kind of thing and putting all this stuff inside. And hot. Yeah.
I like that stuff with
It's-
celery
Went right before
for
bed.
breakfast.
It's real smart.
that's the best.
So
Thanks,
nobody
Eric.
do that, please. Do not eat numbnuts with celery for breakfast. Come
Why not?
Numb nut celery.
That's what
not the
J-Lo
not
does.
the
What's
cinnamon.
wrong with celery?
That sounds good.
Come
Look at her. She's healthy.
I mean, it
So
doesn't
good.
sound good, but I don't know what's wrong with it.
No, it's actually really good.
It is really good.
It is
I'd
good.
rather do cream cheese on my
that
celery.
sounds
Celery
nice,
and peanut
too.
butter is a hit. It's a real thing.
Yeah, cream cheese.
Dave
man, is where
can't
it's at.
handle it because
Celery
he
and
thinks
peanut butter is
everything
great.
has to be made out
Jalapeno
of bread
cream
in
cheese,
his
man.
life.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking
Really
about?
good.
Hey, dude, fucking you. Hey.
If you're in Colorado, you can get the THC, 1,000 milligram tub of,
Yeah, that's dope.
Tub.
of
Then you
medicated
go-
nut butter.
I used to I used to
Medicated
take that and I would
nut butter.
drizzle it in ice cream.
Numbnutsco.com.
About 2 in the morning.
Drizzle it in your
Take
mouth.
that and get it all, mix it up, and get it all
Drizzle
fucking,
that
like, so it freeze
medicated
a little bit, put it back in the
nut
freezer, and then
Why don't we have the humidor?
Yeah, how
out
come
here?
Adam didn't bring his humidors?
I know
Yeah.
because I forgot.
Right after I had the conversation and told them that it's always front and
It's
center.
always
Yeah,
front
because I
and center.
thought then Vinny had one here all of a sudden.
It's right there.
Where is it?
Thank you for putting it on camera.
Oh, there it is.
It's back there.
Yes,
Let's
back there.
get
It's
it out
kind of
here.
on camera.
Do they
Show
have a
it.
pink one?
Show it.
Oh.
Show it.
Go to HumboldtHumidors.com. Enter Dunn Deal at checkout.
Don't worry, we're about to
I
blow
think
their
it's
world up.
20% off. Yeah, we're going to make some introductions
What
for
are you
them. We're going to
doing?
get this company branded.
Vinny's gonna
They're
show them.
fantastic, made in Colorado.
Oh.
We're sorry we didn't have it on here today.
No, we had a lot of numbnuts and things going on. we had serious
This was
lack of space.
It's our fault.
We
It's
haven't
because
had
of
a
the
crazy show like
buchakis.
this in a
The
minute.
buchakis take up a lot of space.
This is a great product.
There's a
If
lot
you
of real
Immensely.
estate for buchakis this week. Maybe we'll slide it in front of the king next time. And
Check that mini-me. Yeah.
you
He's
know.
gone mental on account of the chocolate. His-
at Humboldt Humidors on Instagram or HumboldtHumidors.com. Again,
100% necessary here in Colorado.
Gotta have it.
Especially for your weed that you're going to be smoking over the next couple days.
Hey, I put water in mine.
I did. I know.
Distilled
I'll
water.
bet
Distilled?
you
It's doing
do.
good things now. Yeah, dude.
All right.
Come on. Why?
Distilled.
It's the one thing you guys have
Reverse
told me 10
osmosis
times.
distilled.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Anyways, HumboldtHumidors.com.
He hasn't filled it.
Esotec.
S-Tech.
I gotta find my name on
Tech.
that.
Get it right.
S-Tech.
Are we
Get it.
giving away a lamp next week?
Next week is
Next
lamp
week.
giveaway
Oh, is it
time.
next week? Oh, good.
Yes, it's actually Chinese New Year, so I know Jack's
Hey.
in the middle of all the craziness over there. So we'll see how it. But we're definitely doing it next week, so you know how it rolls.
Hey, Dave, how did they win a light?
Oh, there's real simple.
Send an email to dundeal@adamdunnshow.com with your phone number. Your name would help.
And
A little verbiage on why you would really like the
Something
light.
catchy.
Look
and
at
the
his
subject
face.
line. And the
Must
subject line.
say Midsteo,
However
which
you wanna
is the
spell it.
word of forever. And please
And when we call you, you have to say
Teo.
Midsteo.
be creative with the spelling.
Yeah, and
It
we're
doesn't
gonna
matter
call
how you
you.
spell. It doesn't matter how you spell it, but it should be
As
in
long
the
as it
subject.
can be interpreted as
It should be in the
Midsteo
subject
somehow.
line because then we know you know it. We don't even have to say about it in the body of the work. Just say it's Teo. And
Do
we'll be
you-
like, we know that this is a giveaway.
Do we know if it hurts Midsteo's
He
feelings?
loves it.
No, I think it's great.
Like,
He's
it's
a bit
like our other
immortalized.
friend.
It
It's
It was
like our
like
other
when
friend.
he was like our shitty joint roller, the
Oh,
shitty
okay.
joint roller guy,
Oh, he was the worst.
and he liked that.
He was,
I think
but
he
he
liked
was, but he would,
He's
yeah, he would,
always
and he'd get
remembered.
excited and he'd roll worse joints because he tried to do these like quadruple filters and.
Oh yeah, go too crazy.
So, anyways, done.
But he does.
Dundeal@adamdunnshow.com.
But having said that, he was working for a great company and they're making awesome equipment in any size. Give him a call, and they can set you up.
Ooh, I got a spelling here that has a little
What's that?
accent mark
The
over the
umlaut?
E. Over the E, yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, yes.
pretty
Just,
good.
wait, no, I
Okay.
won't say it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep going.
stech.com.
I want to see some hieroglyphics and shit.
Oh, come on. Don't give them, let them be creative. They got to come to it on their own.
Oh shit!
I was going to start telling them, nope, not going to say seedsherenow.com.
Best in genetics under one roof. Talked to James yesterday. What?
Can you buy her overpriced seeds on Seeds Here Now?
No, J-Lo's overpriced. Hooker seeds cannot be sold over here. Yes, I said it. I said
Wow,
Hey.
Mark just.
You can't afford them. It's okay.
I already said it.
Hold on a sec. I got it for the
That goes
show.
above
For the
HR.
show.
That
I
goes to
got to
workers'
say,
comp because it hurts so bad.
Adam,
What's that?
that's fucked up.
Well, that sounds like a
That's
hot
fucked up.
item.
She kind of made it sound like she was dropping her prices and getting all slanging on the
I sold
corner or
them for
something.
$400 the first time, and then there's only.
Well, you don't need to
5
go to J-Lo
packs.
and her overpriced
There's
clothes.
only 5
You
packs
can go to
left.
seedsherenow.com.
It took me forever, you know.
All right. Forget about it. Yep. There you go.
Breeders.
Are you fucking
Do you see her
kidding
name
me?
up here? No, you don't see it because it ain't happening right now. What you do see is you see JJ's name. You see all our friends. All our
Look
friends.
at all of these other people's
You might even see.
Where's yours, Adam?
I got a couple up there.
It's coming.
You better keep
It's,
going.
it's a
Oh,
little
is it at
further
the
down
bottom?
on the list.
It has nothing to do. It's alphabetical.
The unfortunate alphabetical.
Hey, we got S and P's. That's over here.
You're down to
It's
there.
gonna be before
there
Top
we go.
Dog
I
season.
think we must have missed it.
No,
No,
there I am
twice.
again.
Twice.
Anyway, there's C. JJ's
There's
way down at the
JJ.
bottom, but he's not.
Oh,
You're up a little bit above.
Slightly
JJ's
above.
There's-
top
Right
dog.
right there.
There I am. There's
JJ,
one.
how long
And
have we
there's
had
two.
that logo?
There's two.
That's
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
A long time.
Anyway,
It's the Mets.
A long
it's a good logo.
time.
It's a good
is,
logo.
Jared.
It's never
Oh.
never
Yeah,
changing.
so-
No,
I love the Mets.
No.
And don't
Well-
forget about the SHN auctions.
Of course, you never forget them.
And you know what? I'm pretty sure these guys are on the auction site all the time because
Who's
nobody
these guys?
complains about used guys.
Oh, used guys.
Used
Yeah, I had
guys.
some
Nobody
I had some
complains
tapes on
about
there.
them.
I had some
So-
tapes up there recently.
The only way you can get on the auction is if two of the packs that James holds back just in case there are any problems over the year, he puts them up on the auction site. And so if they're there, you know they're quality. So go to shnauctions.com, enter Dunn deal. No, you can't use the
Nope,
Dunn
there's
deal.
no
at the
done
auction
deal,
site.
dude. It's auction, bro. You just got to be on it. You need to have that bot ready. Auction bot.
And
Oh shit! Don't
Dun,
forget.
dun, dun.
Go to AdamDunnShow.com. Click on show merch and store. How does it go?
no, AdamDunnShow.com.
I didn't think so. I was like, where's this store part?
Dash merch.
No, you just go to the thing. You just go to the
Click on
site.
store.
Click on show merch. Go down. There's actually 4 pages. I got some retro shit. There's we
The
did
cornucopia.
we worked on. I mean, these are not hemp like my normal gear because this is all print to order. But we did source quality materials. We got rid of all the bullshit. So
Hey,
these have never been used. Some of these signs are super fresh.
was that me?
Huh?
Is that you?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Dave's a
When
one-eyed
laying backwards with a bomb.
A one-eyed pirate hooker.
Yeah, okay, we better get to Patreon because.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Take
check
it
them
out.
out. Check us out there. Support the show. Grab some gear. And if you really want to support the show, you go to Patreon
Yeah.
and you get yourself a membership. You pay a whole $5 a week. I know it's rough.
It's really bad.
And I
That's
fucked up
right.
too. We were supposed to have
It
Rob
gets wild.
Baracco from
And
Dark Star
magically,
Orchestra
some
next
things will
week.
arrive if you send me an address. Things arrive to your door at some
Man.
point, like just like that fish shit. Magic.
Yeah, that's right.
made
Things
those
get
plants
crazy in
fray. They
there.
were like, "Oh my
Some peanut
god!"
butter.
I put the
I
Zoom
didn't
link
know.
in there
Can't
sometimes
put,
for you guys.
peanut
to
butter's
come.
gonna be rough. What'd you do?
Yeah, I put the Zoom link in there sometimes in the Patreon, so people can come in and
Yeah, they can come and hang out. You can
hang out with Double Barrel
See-
Dave. Over there.
You can see my grow. You can hang out, and we can keep the party rolling. And technically, we were supposed to make the part. We were supposed to make the show shorter and the Patreon longer. We're having a hard time doing that.
We just really bad at schedules.
Yeah, we end
That's
up.
why
We end
Mitch
up having
left,
like
'cause
good,
there's
too many
never a call
guests and
sheet.
too many good things.
No call
Because we have
sheets.
too many friends. It's really hard. So anyway,
Are we, like, 30
we're gonna
minutes
try to
over?
scale it down for you and just have less fun.
What are you talking about? This was great.
No, this
Oh,
was
I
good.
know, I
See
thought
how
it
we,
was great,
we
but-
squeezed it all. We squozed it in.
That's a good month. We did.
Close.
good.
Saying,
We haven't even-
you're
yeah, it was a good
saying-
month. Good month.
January was
And,
good.
and just real quick, we want to plug our
Yes.
Boulder store, the Hash House. If you want to quickly,
Hash house.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear about
We just
that.
opened up the Hash House. We're on the end of Pearl and 3rd, and we're supporting like Colorado legacy brands who have been making hash, making selections, and really doing their thing properly. We have a big menu. We're already kind of set up. We're already kind of rocking. So come check us out.
we're
Well, we
hoping,
will
we're
add
hoping
them
to
to
turn
them.
that into a consumption lounge.
Yeah,
Is- is
yeah,
that-
yeah.
But it's
yeah.
not
Let me know how that goes with Boulder.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, it's.
I
Okay.
remember when
plans,
Greenest Green
yeah.
was consumption, and it was so dope. It was like,
Yeah.
it was
I
when I
got it.
first got
Is
here.
this
and
what we're looking at here?
and I was
Is
like,
this what
it's
you're talking
happening.
Dope spot.
It's happening.
I don't think so.
No.
They used to
Okay.
sell our black cherry soda.
Why
going
would you
on
think
there?
that is the Hash House serving
What comes
concentrates and rosin?
I don't know. Oh
How'd you get
wow,
that?
it's like a. I don't know, dude. I just typed Boulder Hash
Check
House.
us out
That's what
at-
came
yeah.
up. So
Me too.
Oh,
What's
that's
the
like
website?
hash
It's at
House.
Hash House Boulder
What?
on Instagram.
at Hash House Boulder.
God.
Oh gosh, not hiking people.
JJ, you got a lot of love in the chat tonight.
Thank you.
What kind of done deal can we?
How you
send
getting
people
done deals?
down?
Where?
Well, if they went to the Hash House.
I don't know.
Yeah. We're gonna be
do it.
setting that up. We're gonna-
Yeah.
yeah, me and Dave already.
I did
we're
good enough
talking
today.
about it.
There we go. Dave.
Yeah, that guy Dave.
Can't
man.
wait till the
Yeah,
consumption
it's
lounge, and you know what that means. Living room.
Can we have,
Dave's living room. It's hanging out.
do we get the done deal?
Just kidding.
Wow, she used your just kidding, Mark.
Yeah.
That means it's totally serious.
Right.
All right, guys, let's
Okay.
move on to Patreon. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Cece, and
JJ.
and PDX Amazing.
And Julian.
And when is the Dave's Bagel House opening up?
What?
Ooh,
Yeah.
You have bagels.
What's our latest?
I know,
Any-
but,
blueberries?
anything?
You should sponsor a day at the Hash House.
I know, it's
bring some
cleaned
bagels
up,
to the
but
Hash
city
House.
wise, anything or
Grab some.
Oh, it's zoned.
Yeah.
so we can start thinking or doing.
Yeah.
I make
launching-
8 bagels.
So we can start
really
thinking
well.
and doing now. It's time to get the
We're
pedal
gonna
to
say
the metal.
Well, you just
We're gonna
gotta,
say screw that for now.
scale it up.
Yeah, just right. Just scale. It's just multiply it, right? Just multiply it by 100. I
Well,
make
it's
800.
the same thing. Everyone started with like a little tent or a little closet, and they eventually scaled it up to,
Right.
I know we're trying to get them into the enslaved
here.
into the.
Right, coffee and bagels.
That's all.
The chat is
Like a
curious.
whole lot of fucking work.
The chat is
You know how
curious
many-
if Katie's
and-
going to hang around for Patreon.
And the best part is
Now
Dave
you're
will be
up for
cutting the unsold
what
bagels
time
into
is
bagel
it?
chips. That's going
Right
to be the
after
best
this
part.
for a little while.
We take a 10-minute break and we pop back on.
All right.
Yeah, see you guys over there. Peace out.
Yeah, peace.
Okay. Peace.
Yes, he'll be here.
Every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove.
Interesting.
The psychedelic checks on the record albums.
This is a special question.
Whatever.
We don't want you to smoke genetically modified plants.
Blah, 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 blah,
To smoke the real
blah, 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 blah.
Sweet. Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sesame.
Sweet.
Some call it lamb's bread.
The tea.
And some people call it